early. Stone bagging a double, the Rams securing their second big win at the World Club Challenge.
Strolled through a couple of tackles, got it back to Stone. Can he score number 2? Can he ever?
But while the Rams celebrated, for the Rhinos it was disappointment. The visitors left to rue another one that had got away.
At half-time, we really thought we were in with a big chance. We didn't think we played that particularly well in the first half, and we're only a couple of points behind, so we're really confident coming back into the game. But, a couple of things went against us there. Damien got sent off, and, I guess they went away with it then.
Yeah, good strong performance to the Adelaide Rams, and someone who's had some experience against that is our two new guests, Paul Forber, the Salford back rower, and Gary Broadbent, their fullback. Welcome to the show, guys. It was a tough task first up last week when you took on Adelaide, and they've showed that they're a pretty consistent team in the Super League here. Yeah, they have. Like I was just saying on television, just that Leeds played against some very similar situation. At half-time, there was nothing in the game. Come out the second half, after 10 minutes, they just destroyed us. And Paul, what do you think is that difference in the final 20 minutes? Is it fitness? Is it commitment? Is it belief that you can win? Well, it's like you said, belief you can win, but we went out at half-time, like you said, the game was close, and we thought wasn't playing that well. We went out and we thought second half we had them. We went out, and after, like you said, 10 minutes, I think myself, it's mental at the time, I had the attitude going out. Gary, Andy Gregory was kind enough to organise a bye for you guys while you're on tour, so it's been a pretty relaxed week, I imagine. But do you think that's helped or hindered your preparation? Would you have preferred to play this weekend?
No, I think the lads have enjoyed some time off. It's given us time to get used to the climate up in Townsville, and training's going well, so we'll look forward to the game come Saturday.
Paul, you were saying before that you were right into the game with the Adelaide Rams, and we saw the Rhinos, lead Rhinos as well. Might it be fitness, that last 20 minutes? You seem to sort of fall away? Yeah, but at the time we blamed it on jet lag. But obviously, Leeds have been over here now for 2 weeks. They had a little short journey over to Adelaide. So really you can't put it onto that. Like you say, it may be fitness, it may be commitment, but, they showed a lot more spirit than we showed. And like you say, the last 20 minutes, that's what the outcome. What sort of inroads is the game making now in England? Because, with the advent of the London Broncos and Richard Branson, the Virgin industry billionaire, coming on board and giving some recognition to the game, we hear that it's in the schools in the south of England now. Are you guys becoming household names in England to the extent that some of the Football Association players would be? Well, probably not as big as football. I mean, football's mega in England, but like you say, bringing on the kids on, we do a lot of things through the schools. Bring the kids on, making things big. Super League in England now, it's been made so big, but we're not competing as high as footballers, but you're becoming household names gradually. All right, well, we'd like your opinions of the London Broncos in a moment, because we're leading up to the game against Canberra. Gary Freeman, John McCoy are at Bruce Stadium to call that match, and here's their thoughts on how the sides will match up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and we welcome you to a very cold Bruce Stadium for this clash this afternoon between the Canberra Raiders and the London Broncos. They've had a lot of rain in Canberra over the last 48 hours. Fortunately today the rain has cleared. It is blue sky, but a very cold afternoon. Gary Freeman, if there is to be a major upset and London were to beat the informed Canberra, what have they got to do?
Well, two players who have to play exceptionally well here today for the London Broncos is Josh White, who's one around the halfback area, and the other bloke, Terry Madison, who plays 5'8" for the first time in his career, and have to control the ball, especially with his kicking game.
Yes, to play 5'8" for the first time, it's a big ask when your opposition is Laurie Daly.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a big ask, but I think Terry can. He's got plenty of experience. He's played for the Brisbane Broncos, now the London Broncos. He knows exactly what he has to do in big games of footy, and one thing is to look after Laurie Daly and keep him as quiet as he can.
One thing about London, of course, Gary, is they do have attacking brilliance on their flanks. Martin Afire, one of the greatest wingers in rugby league history. On the other flank, of course, is Scott Roskill, and we saw Scott at his best last Friday night against the Brisbane Broncos when he scored 2 tries.
In front, giving 10.
Edwards this time into the touchline and trying to use up the clock here. It won't get into touch. Oh, flying through was Roskill. I think he scored here for London.
Yes, excellent performance by Scott Roskill on the wing. I suppose the thing, though, for London is they've got to get the ball out to Afire and Roskill, and against Canberra, that could be a problem.
Yeah, it could be a problem if they don't control the ball, John, but the big thing is that those two wingers that you mentioned, they will chase all the kicks, and if Josh White and Terry Madison, as I've already said, will get those kicks in, they've got plenty of pace out there and could cause Canberra some upsets.
Now, last Sunday, of course, Canberra were in brilliant form. They ran in 70 points against Halifax. Can they play any better than that?
Well, I think they can play just a little bit better. Hopefully they won't play that good today against the London Broncos. There's only one player missing, of course, is Ricky Stewart. He's out with a virus. His place will be taken by McFadden, who had a great game against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. But, mate, if they are to do that, they couldn't score another 70 here today.
Well, they did play fantastically well last week, the Canberra Raiders, and one player who was in scintillating form was their fullback, Ken Nagus, who ran in no less than 6 tries.
Burnham finds Kenny Nagus. No. Here we go again. Nagus on the fullback. No problem. He's got 6 tries. Oh, Kenny Nagus will be saying, how good is this?
A club record last week for Ken Nagus, 6 tries, beating Mel Meninga's previous record. That's the thing about Canberra, Gary. They've just got brilliance, though, all over the field.
Yeah, they certainly have got brilliance all over the field. And the other thing is that their forwards have been so strong the last couple of weeks. Has really got them back on track here today. And their outside backs, and with Laurie coming back, Brett Mullins coming back, and only Ricky missing, it's going to be pretty hard for the London Broncos to come away with a victory here today.
Your selection, or do you think it's a foregone conclusion?
No, I'm going to go with Canberra, even though I put a bet on for the London Broncos to get up with the point start, but I think they'll just be too strong.
Well, we should see some excellent attacking football this afternoon from both sides. The London Broncos against the Canberra Raiders here at the Bruce Stadium.
Should be a good match, and Centrebet has the Canberra Raiders at prohibitive odds once again, 25-1 on, and I don't think Kenny Nagus is likely to score 6 tries today, but he lines up at fullback, and he'll be given his chance because it's a great back line.
Oh, it's a great back line. Look, looking at the pack too, though, and I'm sure Paul agrees with me here, you need a good pack that goes forward and is aggressive in defence. And Canberra have done that over the last, half a dozen weeks, and they're showing it on the board. Look at their interchange. Ponga, Wolford, Wesley and Burnham. It's not bad, is it?
No,
They've got a great pack. And, of course, that half-back McFadden, Ricky Stewart not there. We saw him play a couple of weeks ago and really filled in quite well, and it was a perfect link man between the forwards and the backs.
Yes, well, look, we have seen that some of the London Broncos have started to play pretty well. They've hit their straps to a certain extent at home. Do you think, Paul, that they're a club that's on the way up?
Yeah, they're on the way up. Like it was on about before, Richard Branson's put money into them, and people are watching them at home now, because when someone like him puts money in, everybody turns around in England. But the club at the moment, they're playing really well. They played against the top teams in England, and they've turned a lot of them over.
I've got to give the coach Tony Curry a rap. He is Australian, but TC himself was a fine player. But he also came under the Canberra reign when we won a few premierships, and he knows the importance of aggressive defence and taking the ball up, and also a lot of flair in the backs too. So we've seen London Broncos over the last few games over in England throw the ball around with Gay Ben and score some great tries.
Yeah, well, as we have a look at their lineup, there's a lot of Australian names there, Steve.
Well, there is. I want to ask you just quickly, how come the London Broncos can have more Aussies in it than, say, the likes of these teams up north?
Well, the same thing goes for Paris and London. They have a lot of imports in because obviously we're just starting the game in the capital of London.
We see the half 5'8" lock combination. Any team that's going to have success, you must have that. We've got Peter Gill, Josh White, great little player, and Terry Madison has been there and done that. And obviously he's there for the experience, and he can play lock, he can play second row, also he can play 5'8". Not a bad player. Madison,
Tollett and Afire, of course, names well known here, but Gary, is there a danger man outside of those three that you see in the back line there?
Well, obviously Josh White's at the top of his form, but I think David Krause will be a man to watch out for, and you can't give a player of Martin Afire's calibre any space to run.
I think the important thing that the London Broncos, they're playing an informed side in the Raiders, really have been tipped probably to win the premiership along with the Broncos this year in the Australasian side of things, but what they've really got to do is slow that tackle down, slow the play the ball down.
That's definitely true. It's one of the things that was done to a limited effect in the game we've just seen. But I wonder if they'll be able to slow David Furner down. He's been one of the real strike weapons in the forward pack for Canberra this year, and he's talking to Matt McEwen.
David, a convincing performance last week, but the Broncos have already shown against Brisbane last week that they're a lot better side than Halifax.
Yeah, we're not going to be fooled by anything. I think the London Broncos will be a lot better side than Halifax. We ran pretty hot that day against Halifax, but today's a different day. The ground's a lot heavier, so we're expecting a very tough encounter.
Well, what was the talk about during the week? I mean, how do you come down from a game like that and try and build yourself up for another one?
Basically, we're looking at our own performance, to get better. As blokes are coming back from injury, to get the side together. So we've really been concentrating on our own performance, and which we will do today.
You've obviously had a look at London. Tony Mestrov and a few of the other forwards there. They're a little bit tougher, you'd expect.
Oh, definitely, and they've played this type of football a lot of times. You've got Madison and Gill, very experienced players. Josh White, the halfback. So we know how they can play. So we've seen it against Brisbane. They surprised Brisbane too. So we know we're in for a tough game, and we're going to treat it like that.
So no complacency at all.
Not that I've seen anyway. Definitely shouldn't be, because if there is, we don't want to be embarrassed by getting beaten by London Broncos at our home ground.
Good luck, Dave.
Cheers.
Yes, I don't think anyone expects the London Broncos to perform quite as badly as Halifax has in their first 2 games. And one of the reasons is that they've got tremendous finishing ability, and one of those players is Martin Afire. He's talking to John McCoy.
Well, Martin, conditions in Canberra probably much more to the liking of the English-based players, a bit more like home.
Oh yeah, it used to be, but with Super League over there being the summer season now, this is like going back to the old days.
You come up against a side that are very much in form, the Canberra Raiders. What's been the talk during the week in preparing for this game?
Yeah, we're going to have to defend well. We went well in spurts, against Brisbane, but we've just got to try, play better for longer.
Just in the last, 20 minutes or so against Brisbane was when they really got on top. Up until that stage, you were really in the game. Was condition, do you think, a problem in Brisbane?
Obviously we can make lots of excuses, like, we'd only got off the plane, like 4 days ago, after travelling halfway around the world. But, the same is going to be said, when, Brisbane come over to England. So, that's gone now. We're just looking forward to, putting up a good showing, against Canberra today.
Are you confident against the Raiders?
Obviously, we're going in as firm underdogs. We're not, we are realistic. But, we realise that, we did well last week. And, we've just got to put out of our mind, the fact that, that Canberra are a champion team, just go out there and concentrate on our own performance.
Given the performance of Wigan against Canterbury and their win last Monday night, do you think that was a confidence booster for all of the sides, and particularly a team like London?
We went pretty well. Obviously, people over here, still saw Wigan as underdogs, but we know that they'd go pretty well. Wigan are a champion team over in England. They're no strangers to success, over here. Obviously, harping back to 94. So, but that's them. We've just got to take on board what we did, against Brisbane, and go one better today.
The loss of Sean Edwards for this game, how big a blow is that to the Broncos?
Well, I think the fact that when he came on, I think we were 12 down, and when he left, we were 20-odd 18 up. It's a big loss, but we can't really think about that. Josh White's a great player. He's had some great games, back home, and hopefully, he'll be able to get the ball rolling today.
Thanks for talking with us, Martin. Have a good game.
Thanks.
Chariots of Fire, one of the real entertaining players in the London Broncos back line. And Paul, you say you like a little bit of a bet. They're offering juicy odds, 8-1 in a 2-horse race. Are you tempted?
None at all. What is the odds? How many starts are they getting?
Yeah, I don't know about the start, but it's 25-1 on across the line for the Raiders, or 8-1 against for London.
Nah, 25-1 on. I think I'll be taking that somewhere along the lines, but them are really bad odds. But no, I won't be back in London. But like Martin says, I think London will put a great performance up. The English clubs at the moment, we didn't think we were so far behind. We was playing really well in England. Clubs were playing each other. Before Salford come to Australia, we beat Wigan and we beat St Helens.
Yes.
And then we come out here and we get absolutely thrashed. We thought we was on top of all form when we come out here, but realistically now, looking at it, we're miles behind.
Andy Gregory surprised me by saying that he didn't think Wigan was good enough to win the club challenge. He thinks that none of the English teams will figure that prominently. Do you agree with that, or do you think that someone like Bradford or Wigan could come out and surprise us?
Well, Wigan surprised me winning the first game. They was on fire before they left. They absolutely destroyed St Helens. But like I said, we beat Wigan before we come away. So when you look at it realistically, they haven't got a chance.
No, it's disappointing though, isn't it, Steve? It's a great concept, this club challenge, but you'd like to think that at least some of the English players thought that their clubs might win.
Well, exactly. Now, there is a bit of getting used to climatic conditions or whatever, although it's pretty cold down there in Canberra. But I want to ask you, Gary and Paul, one thing about Australian teams, their defence is very packed in the attacking moment. So what you've got to obviously do is either throw the ball wide or take the ball up and turn the ball in. That's what the Broncos are going to have to do. The likes of Dunford and Tony Mestrov, taking the ball up but turn the ball back in. It really is your probably only opportunity to chance to make yardage against the Raiders.
I think that's right. As we saw in our game, Adelaide crucified us up the middle. They turned the ball back inside, and the thing with the Australian teams is there's always someone there supporting. Like you say, with London, they've got to try and offload the ball because Canberra have got so many world-class players, they're going to find it difficult.
Yeah, I think there's no question about that. It'll be interesting to see how they do go at Bruce Stadium today. Conditions to suit, very cold, very English-like. Let's go down there to Bruce Stadium now with Gary Freeman and John McCoy.
One player that is missing this afternoon from the London side is Shaun Edwards. Out with a hamstring injury. Hopefully he'll be back for next week's game in round 3. And so Terry Madison moves into the 5/8 role this afternoon, taking the one of the halves positions, which normally, of course, is occupied by Shaun Edwards. And Andrew Hamilton comes into the second row into the forwards. He's an interesting player, Andrew Hamilton. In fact, he's one player, even though he's playing for the London Broncos, he's never seen the streets of old London town, because he was signed from the South Queensland Crushers only a couple of weeks ago. He's already played for the Crushers this season, signed by London since they've arrived here in Australia. But he's a good player, came originally from Bundaberg in Queensland. And here comes the Canberra Raiders, led out today by Laurie Daly, the reason being that Ricky Stewart is out. He has a virus. He trained with the side yesterday, Ricky Stewart, but was affected by that virus and was ruled out this morning. And so young Andrew McFadden, who will be wearing the number 21 jersey, comes in to take the place of Ricky Stewart. What a good side it is, Canberra. And I suppose emphasising what a good side the Raiders are when you look at that reserves bench. Pongia, Wolf, Wesley, Burnham. Good side indeed.
Well, that was the man last week that scored 6 sensational tries against Halifax, and they'll be trying to look forward to him making those breaks up the middle from the fullback role again. Laurie Daly will be leading his side, and the guy beside him on his right, McFadden, had a tremendous game against Adelaide. They'll try and put in that same performance. The Canberra side around that ruck area.
So the players from both sides on the field. We're going to observe a minute's silence here at Bruce Stadium for the passing of Eileen Jamieson, one of the greatest of Raiders supporters, in fact known as the Raiders' mum, who passed away yesterday, and a great loss to everybody in Canberra and everybody connected with the Canberra Raiders.
She will be missed.
She certainly will be missed by everybody in Canberra, and our commiserations to the family of Eileen Jamieson, the Raiders' mum, as we now wait for the national anthems. Interesting to see the Australian representatives for the London side standing listening, partner fire singing with gusto. We welcome our viewers through Sky in Great Britain to this coverage of the clash between the London Broncos And the Canberra Raiders, Tim Mander is the referee for this afternoon's clash here at Bruce Stadium. Canberra Raiders to take the kick-off. Let's take you to the sideline at a very cool afternoon in the shade, freezing at the moment. Matthew McEwen. Matt, good afternoon.
John McCoy, there isn't enough F's in freezing. The wind is coming straight off the snowy mountains from the southeast, and it is bitterly cold down here now. One thing firing up, though, was Tony Curry. He was complaining about the Australian referees and their interpretation of play the balls. He thinks that is a major detriment to his side and all the English sides. He's called on that for that to be fixed up. Otherwise, he's pretty confident after last week's performance they can bring off an upset. The Raiders' complacency is their worst enemy.
So it's the London Broncos who have the first use of the ball, and immediately they elect to take it wide, and Tulson Tullett runs into a tough tackle. He was put to ground by Ruben Wiki.
It's one thing you can't do against the Canberra Raiders. Try and go around them too early. Here goes Ruben Wiki once again. Tulson Tullett, I think he'll be running down the outside of him anymore in the rest of the game.
So London 20 metres on their own side of halfway. Beasley into dummy half. This is Russell Borden, formerly a Brisbane Bronco. Borden put to ground. Last is coming up. Back it goes to Josh White. Gets his kick away as it was contested by his opposition halfback Andrew McFadden, and particularly for our British viewers, McFadden coming into the side for Canberra today as a late change for Ricky Stewart, who's out with a virus, but that kick going too deep over the dead ball line, and so the Canberra Raiders get their first touch of the football with a tap restart from the 20-metre mark, and Luke DeVico almost busted through. He was caught just at the last moment and dragged to ground by the London defence.
Yeah, one thing you know, McFadden going into the dummy half roll there and chasing out at 100 mile an hour to get to Josh White. I think Mel Meninga's had a planned move there. We can get to this guy before he can kick the ball.
Laurie Daly able to give his pass away to David Furner, and Canberra are 8 metres on their own side of halfway, and Daly again shows it onto the blind side to Luke DeVico, crosses the halfway mark before he's put to ground on tackle number 5, and once more they work down the short blind, getting the kick away, but it's taken by the fullback Andrew Duncan for the London Broncos, and Duncan is 25 metres out from his own line. Martin Afire with a scamper just to the blind side, taken immediately though by Laurie Daly, who was awake to that ploy by Martin Afire. And again, London through Josh White, able to spread the ball wide early in the tackle count. So London just working to 8 metres on their own side of halfway. Getting now to the halfway mark.
Yeah, London trying to go wide once again on that right-hand side for them. I think they've got to go do this more often, John, is go forward in the early parts of this game, get some good yardage. You see McFadden go in the dummy up. They've got 3 markers here. Canberra should be penalised for that.
Josh White getting his kick away, not the best of kicks. It's going to find touch. It'll go into touch just 21 metres out from the Canberra line. Not the best of kicks by Josh White, but it's probably had the desired result. He's found touch. Just let his side regroup in defence as Canberra will feed this scrum.
Josh White once again getting that kick in, but it's been rushed because McFadden is coming out of the line, going to that second marker and getting out there at 100 mile an hour and putting pressure on him.
Hold that line, fellas.
Andrew McFadden working the scrum for Canberra, and immediately up the blind side goes Bradley Clyde. But it was well read by the London defence. He was dragged to ground immediately in the tackle of Andrew Hamilton, who came out of that scrum quickly. Peter Gill going in to make the next tackle, and the first penalty of the game.
No way, you're going early.
Penalty against the London Broncos. Going early, rule referee Tim Mander, and a quick tap taken by Canberra, backing their attacking skill. Jason Croker getting down the wing and almost getting away. Eventually, Tulson Tullett coming across in cover defence makes the tackle. David Furner once more going to the short side. Again, it was left to Tullett to go underneath to make the tackle with Hamilton. McFadden switching it, looking for the runners coming up the middle of the ruck. Brett Hetherington to play the ball.
Tell you what, the London Broncos were all offside there as they go wide. Canberra
through Kennedy. Kennedy able to get it away to Nagus, turned inside to Royston Lightning. Lightning will go in and score. There's about 5 Canberra Raiders players in support of Royston Lightning. Not one defender anywhere to be seen from London. How easy is that? Royston Lightning scores underneath the post, and it's 4-0 in favour of the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, well, see, London's got a great work there, but they come up in a good line. But again, Kenny just play on the outside, picks up Nagus. There's only really the fullback there to beat. Unbelievable. I thought Kennedy was going to go in, and I can't believe it. Johnny McCoy, and he knows what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. But Royston Lightning going underneath the sticks there. We're only one pass off.
Laurie Daly working away to the blind side, sending his pass on to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy drawing Martin Afire. Lovely pass. He knew that Ken Nagus was there. Nagus also knew that Royston Lightning was coming back on the inside. No one in front of Royston Lightning. Daylight only to be seen. Underneath the post he goes. Converted by David Furner. And it's 6 points to 0 in favour of the Canberra Raiders, and ominous signs for the London Broncos early on.
Up to then, I thought the London Broncos defence was going extremely well, but again, it comes down to lack of communication. They play a little bit of an up and in defence, whereas Canberra play that slide, and they did get caught out because they didn't go up fast enough. Martin Afire got caught with 3 players to attend to.
So the restart to be taken by Canberra. Well, we did see London last week, of course. They got behind early on against the Brisbane Broncos, but were able to come back and, in fact, led at half-time. Can they do the same again today? Terry Madison. Madison has a big ask today. The first time he's played at 5'8". This is because of the injury to Sean Edwards. A reshuffle has seen Terry Madison go out into the 5'8 spot. And a baptism of fire for Terry Madison. It's a hard enough task when you've never played there before, particularly when your opposition is the best in the world, Laurie Daly.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to ask for Terry, like you said, first time in his career. One thing I noticed with the London Broncos side, they'll go one forward, then go and try and go wide. They get caught on the sideline and really leaves their players nowhere to go.
Josh White standing deep, getting the kick away, putting it over the head of Jason Croker. Croker thought about trying to take that ball, then realised that perhaps discretion was the better part of valour. Let the ball go over his head and bounce into touch.
Here goes McFadden. McFadden is flying out the line, trying to put pressure on White. It looks like he's that little bit of extra pressure. I think there's going to be a couple of mistakes from White, getting that sort of pressure from the other halfback, and McFadden. They'll hopefully try and get the ball back in their own half.
Once again on his own 20, Andrew McFadden works the scrum. Jason Croker with that arm heavily bandaged. Jason Croker, who's only just a fortnight ago made his return to the Canberra Raiders side. He was injured pre-season for the Raiders, had a broken arm, and he's been sorely missed by Canberra. He's such a brilliant utility player, Jason Croker. This is Ben Kennedy, a youngster of enormous potential. Started his career in rugby union before switching over to the Canberra Raiders rugby league side. McFadden giving his pass away to David Furner. Furner taken in the tackle of Andrew Hamilton. Andrew Hamilton, particularly for our English viewers in London who may have watched the London Broncos playing at home and thought, Andrew Hamilton, where has he come from? Well, he's only been signed for London while they've been here in Australia. He played for the South Queensland Crushers earlier on this season in a couple of games here in their Australian Premiership, but signed by the London Broncos. So his first run-on appearance today for the club.
First notice with Mel, with the change of glasses, he's gone away from those big yellow ones. Gone for the Oakleys. It's nice, a bit of different colour there for Mel.
Big push by Canberra. Can they win it against the feed? They can't. Peter Gill eventually comes up with it. Good tactic, though, employed by Canberra. Sometimes it is a good ploy. You can catch a defence napping, particularly when you're down well inside the opposition territory, to put on a big push, and that almost paid dividends. But London coming up with possession. They're 15 inside their own half.
And that big scrum push, no one really does it in the modern game of rugby league anymore, John. They're just content just to get the ball in and get it out. If you don't push in the scrum, oh, good.
Russell Borden was running hard, fell into the tackle of Brett Hetherington as Josh White on the last gets the kick away. Again, it goes just in behind Jason Croker. Smile from Jason Croker. So that's twice in the last 2 minutes he's done that to me.
Will he leave me alone? Can you kick the other side? I think that they know that Jason Croker hasn't got the pace of Royston Lightning, and it's a good move by the London Broncos to kick it down there on that right-hand side of the field, their right-hand side, to keep them under pressure.
Josh White, the halfback for the London Broncos. Once again, a scrum feed to Canberra. So since Canberra scored that try, it's been like a little bit like a chess game.
Yeah, I think the London Broncos were a little bit unlucky with that try. They just didn't number up properly. But again, their go forward's pretty good. But again, Canberra, this is the big thing they worked the game on. Another penalty there.
You've got to come back. You've got to make the effort. You're not even making the effort. You're just standing in front.
Yeah, and I think that sums it up. They were well in front of referee Tim Mander. So the second penalty goes to Canberra. And Bradley Clyde has the kick and finds touch right on halfway.
Bradley Clyde kicking for the line. Wow.
A new string to Bradley Clyde's bow. Laurie Daly to David Furner. Furner had Nagus on the outside of him. Said, you've scored enough tries, I'll have a run myself. This is Ben Kennedy. Kennedy down the short side and busting through Ben Kennedy. Can he get his pass away? He can't. Josh White holds on to him. Now back in field through Luke Prudis. This is Luke DeVico.
Well, Canberra go wide now. They've got the London Broncos. There's only about 3 or 4 players out there to defend.
They've got men over if they want to, but Luke Prudis elects to take another run himself, 12 metres out right in centre field. Brett Mullins goes in to be the dummy half for Canberra. From Mullins, McFadden, then Daly. Daly getting his pass away. They're only, let's see, 10 metres out from the line. Last tackle is coming up for Canberra. Ball played, spun back in field once more to Laurie Daly. He'll use the kick, putting it deep across towards Lightning's wing. Brett Mullins going forward as well. It came off Mullins. Knocked on by Brett Mullins.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there, the Canberra side. Good kick there by Laurie Daly. Right across the face of the London Broncos side. But Brett Mullins just coming up with a mistake. He just even gets his hand to it, trying to knock it back for Lightning. Otherwise, there was no one else home for the London Broncos at all.
So London working it out from 15 metres inside their own half. Scott Roskell, who scored 2 tries last week against the Brisbane Broncos with that settling run, and this is Terry Madison. Madison able to give his pass on to Tulson Tollett. Madison going into dummy half, just directing play. Matt Dunford bringing it down the centre of the ruck. Luke Prudis, the tackler. Last coming up again. Once more, they'll drive Jason Croker mad doing that to him all day. Another kick that finds touch in behind Jason Croker from Josh White.
Well, I don't know if they've actually picked this as a weak link or anything, but I think it's just the other thing is that Lightning, as I said, has got more pace than Croker there on the other wing. And I think he'll be sick and tired of seeing the ball kicked to him, because all he has to do now is run the ball up off the scrum.
So Canberra leading London by 6 points to 0 here at Bruce Stadium.
Just one thing with those kicks, I think Josh White could probably go the line a little bit more and put the ball in the air, give the side some sort of opportunity of getting the ball back other than just giving Canberra the scrum.
Let's go, get away, get away.
Jason Croker tackled by Russell Borden. Laurie Daly. Daly getting it away to Ruben Wiki. Wiki standing in the tackle. Terry Madison clinging onto him though, and he's eventually called on to play the ball. Will Hetherington.
Well, if the London Broncos don't get back on side again, they will be seeing someone in the bin, that's for sure.
Loose pass. Going back for it will be Brett Mullins. In fact, it's Luke Prudis who eventually dives on it. Now to Luke DeVico. DeVico pushed back a couple of metres. They're 12 inside their own half, Canberra.
No, Luke. No, get out. Tony, last tackle, mate. Holding down. Silly penalty. Silly penalty.
Well, they are the coach killers, and Tony Curry, the coach of the London Broncos, would be furious with that. You're on the last tackle. Even Tim Mander said, silly penalty. Giving one away on the last.
Well, I'll tell you what, Luke DeVico is a little bit lucky there. Coming over there with a little bit of an elbow. I think it was really meant by it.
And well, here is a let-off for London.
Big Bradley Clyde coming up with a knock-on there.
Ball spilt by Bradley Clyde on the first tackle. So what can London do? Tulson Tollett again runs into another tough tackle from Ruben Wiki, first of all, finished off by Bradley Clyde. That's twice Tulson Tollett has had the ball, and twice he's run into the clutches, first up of Ruben Wiki.
Well, one thing I would be doing is passing the ball if I saw Ruben coming towards me. It's a good run by
Josh White. White getting through, able to turn his pass back on the inside to Robbie Beasley backing up. Beasley is 30 metres out from the line. Now away to Madison. Madison's got Gill on the outside. Can't get the pass to him though. Good tackle low by McFadden. Gill onto the blind side. Gives his pass away. Roskell coming back in field. Once again McFadden going in to make the tackle. They keep it alive though to Russell Borden. He doesn't quite know what to do with it. London just at 6s and 7s at the moment, and they're on tackle number 5. Played to Beasley. Beasley gives it away to Dunford. Dunford to Duncan, then away to Krause, and on to Martin of Fire for the corner. Chariots of Fire gets the ball down. He thinks he scored the try. Does the referee agree? Doesn't even go to the video referee. He knows it was a fair try, and a good try by Martin Afire, who was one of the best finishers in the game.
Well, they played that superbly there, the London Broncos. Played the unders play. Good to see the run on the last half. As you can see, no Canberra defence there whatsoever. Mullins had to make up his mind whether he stays or goes. He started to stay. And Chariot's just too quick over that first 5 metres there to go in the corner. On the head-on view, you'll see Mullins goes to go. No, I'll stay. Royston Lightning's back deep. And again, short pass. Too much pace for both of them. That is a very, very good try to the London Broncos. Good way to strike back.
Excellent try by Martin Afire. Just shows what a good finishing winger he is. Didn't have all that much room to work in when the ball came to him. He knew that he was flirting with danger there on the touchline, but terrific work by Martin Afire to get the ball down. And so Terry Madison has the goal-kicking duties for the London Broncos. And a difficult kick first up for Terry Madison. One of the old-style kickers, Terry Madison, just lays the ball down on the mound and just takes the steps back and then comes straight onto it rather than the round-the-corner style. But one that's been very successful, particularly for the Brisbane Broncos through their premiership years. I've put the mocker on him.
You certainly did, John.
No goal by Terry Madison, so the Canberra Raiders lead the London Broncos by 6 points to 4 here at Bruce Stadium. As Terry Madison makes his way back for the restart. But that will be a confidence booster for Canberra, for London rather, knowing that this is what they did last week. They got behind to the Brisbane Broncos and were able to come back.
I think the big thing is what Benny McKeown said before the game is the Canberra side really relaxing too early when the game had only just kicked off after scoring their first points on the board.
Brett Hetherington running it back from his own in goal after the restart. Ruben Wick trying to bust through the tackle of Borden.
No, over the top, mate. The tackle's been made. You've come over the top and holding him down.
So very similar to last week's start, where I think the penalties at half-time last week in that match between Brisbane and London favoured London by about 7 or 8 to 1, and it's the same today. The penalties just flowing one way at the moment in favour of the Raiders.
Yeah, just one thing with Josh White coming over the top there as Canberra take the ball forward by Croker is that he went to hold the ball, trying to slow down the play, and the referees just won't tolerate that.
David Furner just inside London territory. Push back in the tackle of Hamilton. Luke Prittis runs from dummy half, chased out of marker by Hamilton going in low. So if you look at that stat and you see just how much possession Canberra have had. Once more, we see the Raiders through Bradley Clyde making a half bust. This is Laurie Daly. Daly shoots it wide to Kennedy, has 3 goes to get hold of it and can't. It'll be dived on by Russell Borden. Referee Tim Mander plays advantage. Fullback Andrew Duncan has a scamper away from dummy half. Kennedy, who had made the mistake in losing that ball. Not that you could really blame Ben Kennedy. It was not the best of passes up above his head. Probably did well to control it for 2 or 3 attempts before eventually it hit the deck.
Well, Canberra certainly are hitting this right-hand side, the London's right-hand side. They're just trying to catch Martin Afire out. He does drop back a little bit early in the play, and they still had Mullins and Royston Lightning over there if Ben Kennedy had caught that ball.
Matt Dunford taking a short pass off Josh White. He's probably sorry he did. Ran into a tough tackle from Kennedy and DeVico. That's the halfway line that you can see in screen as Terry Madison on the last uses the kick.
No, look at it, standing that way, not forward.
Well, Jason Croker is a little bit like, he's had about 5 kicks put to him, and this one went straight at him at 100 mile an hour. Which I thought the ball went come off his chest, not his arms.
I think Jason's just said to the blokes on the London side, give me a break, will you? There's a couple of other fellas on the field you can give some kicking practice too.
Hold it there.
But Josh White gets to feed this scrum.
Oh. Well, Josh White.
No way. Ball twisted, came straight out.
Josh White just running away from the scrum here.
Just wait.
Dave Furner coming from the second row to dive on the ball. They better make sure they get their calls right here.
So London this time with a clean scrum. Terry Madison playing at 5'8", looking to cut his way back in field. McFadden is there to stop him with David Furner. Tultz and Tollett, no one coming off him, and he had to run himself, which he didn't intend to, and Tollett will get to his feet and say, well, where were the receivers? Tony Mestrov, just inside the red zone of Canberra. Ball played through Beasley and then away to White, and on it comes to Madison, and this is Borden. Borden held on to some solid defence from Daly over the top, and underneath was Furner. Now once more to Josh White, takes it to the line, then gives the pass away to Peter Gill. Well read by the Canberra defence though. This is the last on its way for London. Back to Josh White, uses the little grubber kick, was able to get the ball back and is held on to. So it'll be the changeover, and Canberra with the ball only 2 metres out from their own line, and lost by Ben Kennedy. So here's a great chance, dived on immediately by Jason Croker, but London will feed a very important scrum just 10 metres out from the line.
Well, this is where Canberra really have got to put themselves together and really start concentrating on carrying the ball forward. One thing they're not, Ben Kennedy, everyone lucky, had lost the ball before the tackle was even finished. A good cover there. I think they've got to put on a move here, the London Broncos, and get them on the right-hand side. Here they go.
Going to work to the short side through Peter Gill. They've got men over, away to Josh White, and then on to Scott Roskill. Oh, gee, they caught the Canberra defence at 6s and 7s. They just didn't number off the Canberra Raiders. There was a yawning gap on the blind side. It was brilliantly read by Peter Gill at the scrum base, and Scott Roskill goes in to score try number 2 for the London Broncos, and the London boys are in front.
Yeah, that is a great move. What actually happens there, the 2 forward, you watch Bradley Clyde goes out to the right. That really only leaves the halfback and the winger. And if you drop the lock off from behind the scrum, it's a 3-on-2 situation straight away. And Josh White, I thought, did a magnificent job there and drawing the winger and then offloading to his wing to go over in the corner. Roskill he scored 2 tries against Brisbane last week, and that is a good try to get them back in front here tonight.
Scott Roskill, who's certainly enjoying the stint with the London Broncos here in Australia, his 3rd try of the World Club Challenge. What a good hit back it is by the London Broncos. 2 quick tries to have them in front by 8-6. Terry Madison, well, they're not doing their skipper any favours today. Now, here's an interesting one. Terry Madison, as we said before, he normally lays the ball down. This time he's got it standing up, and he's going to... Is he going to kick around the corner style? No, he's laid it down. Well, at first he had it sitting up, now he had laid it down. Here's the kick on its way from Terry Madison. Hits the upright. Bad luck for Terry Madison, no goal. At first I thought he was going to lay that ball up, but at the last moment he did just put it down as his normal kicking style.
I thought he'd stood the ball up, but what are we seeing here? Once again, you see Gill dropping off the scrum. Josh White does a tremendous job, really. Croker, he had no chance of taking anyone in that situation. It was a 2-on-1, and he really just had to take somebody, but he couldn't take anyone at all.
Well, I think while you say what a good try it was to London, and they did everything right, you have to be critical of Canberra's defence there. You could see that there was a very, very big blind side that was just waiting to be exploited, and they just didn't number off.
Well, Bradley Clyde said he came out to the right-hand side of the field, which left that big gap.
Andrew McFadden making a half break, runs into his opposite number, Josh White, bounced away from White. Tollett was able to get him, then away to Jason Croker. Croker was caught by Hamilton and Roskill and put over. So Canberra may have been stung after those 2 quick tries. They're saying to themselves, we perhaps have taken things a little easy after the first try that we scored. Now it's time that we started to play football. Laurie Daly, the captain, away to Ken Nagus. Nagus dragged to ground by Borden. Quick play the ball. Kennedy through Furner on the short side. Furner runs it to the line and is taken by David Krause. They're 15 metres out from scoring. Through Mullins, then away to McFadden. His pass goes on to Laurie Daly. Daly runs it to the line, tries to give a short pass and a penalty. London offside.
No, Terry, come here, please, mate. Laurie, no, we're just going to hold it. We're going to hold it. We're going to hold it. Terry. Mate, they are standing constantly offside, not making the effort to come back. If I've got to keep penalty, mate, I'm going to start sending them, okay? It's not an idle threat. Okay, let's get back, make the effort.
Well, that's almost exactly the words that Bill Harrigan used last Friday night. They are constantly offside. If it happens again, I'm going to have to send somebody. Almost precisely what Bill Harrigan said, and London have to take note. This penalty count so heavily against them. And you can't keep giving Canberra tackles as they are now. Luke DeVico tackled only 5 metres out from the line. From Priddis, this is McFadden. McFadden trying to sneak his way through the little fellow. He's almost over. 1 metre out, he was held on to in a desperation tackle. He was pulled to ground by Dunford. Now to Laurie Daly. Daly looking to get his pass away and does so to Bradley Clyde. Wrapped up ball and all by Tollett. Now away to Daly. Daly gives a short pass on to Furner. Furner gives it back to McFadden. Basketballs it away to Hetherington. It was knocked down by Martin of Fire. It was touched by London, picked up now by Laurie Daly. The tackle count restarts. This is Brad Clyde, 11 metres out from the London line.
Talk about players going to the bin. Again, the London Broncos will not get back with the referee. He is going to send someone shortly.
Ruben Wiki playing the ball. DeVico goes to the short side. Dummies back onto the inside and tries to spin through the tackle. Held on to 9 metres up. McFadden. Then away to Hetherington. On to Furner, who's dropped at David Furner. Picked up by Martin of Fire. Play on. Playing the advantage. A Fire trying to bust away. Got away from a couple. Now is taken by Ken Nagus in a smothering tackle.
Yeah, mistakes again, really wearing down the Canberra side. They're making just too many. They're giving the ball back to the London Broncos, and they just got to go forward now. Get a good kick in and put the Canberra side under some pressure in their own 25.
So London surprising leaders over Canberra by 8 points to 6. They've scored 2 tries to 1, even though the penalty count is so heavily against them.
I think what you notice is that the error count, 6 to Canberra, 1 to London. They are really controlling this ball. That's the big thing about beating Canberra on their own home soil. Got to control the ruck area.
So London getting to the halfway mark. And the last tackle is coming up now for the Broncos. Beasley, a dummy half, gives it away to first receiver Josh White. Kicks out towards Jason Croker's wing. And it will go into touch once more. Instant replay,
I
number
don't
8.
know if that must be his best side for kicking, because they have not tried to kick the other side whatsoever. And all I can say, once again, is that the other guy on the other side is a lot quicker than Jason Croker. But again, I think Josh White should go the line a little bit more, put the ball in the air, give his side an opportunity of maybe getting the ball back, because the Canberra side, they can hurt you from these 20-metre scrums inside their own half.
Well, Andrew McFadden certainly getting plenty of practice today, feeding scrums inside his own quarter way.
Okay, mate, on that line's good.
Kicks in play. Canberra have kicked 3 times. London have kicked 7. Almost all, I would think, from Josh White, and almost all towards Jason Croker. So the scrum fed and won by Canberra.
Our first sign of movement on the interchange bench. Quinton Ponga going to the sideline for Canberra, and another change going to be made by the Raiders too.
Thanks, Matt McEwen. Terrific interchange bench that they have, Canberra. Just outside their own 20. Brett Hetherington to play this ball.
See young McFadden has come to the bench.
Priddis makes a break, comes towards the fullback, sends his pass back on the inside to Brett Mullins. Mullins being chased by Martin of Fire. A Fire ankle taps in, can't put him to ground. And the brilliance of Brett Mullins goes in to score right underneath the post. Is there a better sight in rugby league than Brett Mullins in full flight? If there is, then I don't know it. Perhaps Martin of Fire or Wendell Saylor from Brisbane could be equal to him. But a terrific break here, originally by Luke Priddis. And then Brett Mullins puts the head back and heads for the try line, and Mullins in to score a great Canberra try.
Yeah, it's great to see, but Luke Priddis here does a magnificent job. The London Broncos really out of the dummy half area were terrible, but he just comes up and like you said, isn't he sensational? I thought O'Fire was going to get him. He just dived, I thought, about a yard too early. And Mullins puts the ball down to one hand. Belmaning will be happy. They scored that one underneath the post. Brett Mullins, look at him. It didn't even raise a sweat.
Brett Mullins, who was out of the Canberra side last week in that big win over Halifax. As David Furner converts, and so Canberra are back in front with 2 converted tries. Canberra 12, lead London 8. Yes, Brett Mullins, when you think that last week Canberra ran up 70 points, and missing from the Canberra side were Laurie Daly and this man, Brett Mullins.
He's terrific backer-upper, isn't he? In that centre position, he's just so much closer to the ruck area, and if someone does make a break, they can back up so quickly.
Tell you what, Gary Freeman, for any of our youngsters watching that game, you can learn a lot from watching Brett Mullins, but one thing you shouldn't learn is how he put that ball down. He could have easily lost control of that ball over the try line, the one-handed put down. I don't think you'd be teaching your youngsters to do those sort of things, would you, Gary Freeman?
I don't think I'd like them to do it, but if they scored it like he did, I wouldn't be too worried. But the big thing is McFadden's come from the side for the Canberra side too.
London made their first change too. Adrian Spencer's gone on. Andrew Hamilton's come off.
80 Spencer is wearing number 15. He's an interesting player, 80 Spencer. Interesting in as much as he's a chemical engineer, and when he was at university, at famous Cambridge University in England, he was playing rugby union for Cambridge, but also was playing for the London Crusaders, as they were called before they became the London Broncos. And when the rugby union boys found he was also playing rugby league, they banned him for 12 months. But during the ban came the professionalism to rugby union, so the ban was wiped. But these days he concentrates on playing professional football for the London Broncos.
And there's a bloke that's been missing from the Canberra side in the last couple of weeks, making his return, Quinton Pongia.
Hey, I called you 3 times then, you just totally ignored me.
Well, that'll be a relief for London to get a penalty off Tim Mander. With just under 10 minutes remaining until the break, that's the first penalty that London have got. And Josh White will kick for touch.
Tony Curry will be a little bit happier. It took them 8 penalties for Brisbane last week before they got one, so they're too quick at this time.
I think most of their penalties really have been coming from the offside position too.
White giving his pass away to Madison. Madison then away to Tony Mestrov. Mestrov 32 metres out from the Canberra line. Run across onto the short side. Dunford taking it up inside the red zone. Tackled by Ken Nagus. Quick play the ball once more to the blind side. Through White and on the way to Tolson. Tollett on to Roskell. Roskell going for a line once more.
He's bounced that. He's bounced that. It's a tap.
Scott Roskell getting the ball over the line but losing it. Bounced, says referee Tim Mander.
Oh, good decision by the referee too. Not worried about the video replay and made a decision there. That was tremendous effort by him.
But again, London attacking down that short side on their right-hand side, London. The Canberra left-hand side defence, that's where they've scored 1 try and they almost pulled off another.
Well, I think they've got players like Mullins and Royston Hotney on this side. Ruben Wiki is on the left-hand side of defence. He should be doing a bit of a better job there, just not numbering up enough.
So, Canberra making a half bust. David Furner tackled. Kenny Nagus coming back infield and is dragged to ground. That's Jason Burnham wearing the number 20 jersey for Canberra as Laurie Daly uses the kick-out chase. Brilliantly picked up by Laurie Daly. Martin Appiah gives away the chase. Laurie Daly puts it down underneath the dot. Perhaps people would say, oh, he got a lucky bounce. Don't believe it for one moment because Laurie Daly, you've seen him do that time and time and time again. He practices so much at training. It's as if he had the ball on a piece of string. Brilliant work by Laurie Daly. He knew that there was no one at home as far as the fullback was concerned. The fullback was standing very deep. Just the little chip over the line, the regain, and he was able to get away from Duncan, beat a fire and score under the post.
Oh, that's just tremendous effort there by Laurie Daly. Once again, the London side not coming up in defence. As Furner goes to take the kick. I'll take you through this one. It's right in front of the post, and that is over. That's another 2 points in for the Canberra side. But what I was saying, Laurie Daly, he got the ball so that the Canberra side weren't going to come up. I mean, the Broncos weren't going to come up. He's taken the line, short little grubber kick, gets a lovely bounce. And now, like you said, Fire gives up, and so does everyone else, and that goes underneath the black dot.
Laurie Daly scores the try for Canberra, and so the Raiders get away to lead by 18 points to 8 over the London Broncos here at Bruce Stadium. Canberra back for the restart. That player, in fact, was offside. The referee has allowed that to go, but for my money, Quinton Pongia was offside when that kick was taken. I think he was in front of the kicker. The referee, though, has said play on. Josh White immediately trying to go wide through Peter Gill. David Krause. Missed tackle count. Certainly a killing one as far as London is concerned, very heavily going against London. missed tackles on the Canberra side. Well, you'll see the result up on the scoreboard, and what you see you won't get to like too much. Beasley tackled, last coming up for London. Josh White again going down that right-hand side and chipping over the top. Roskell almost got the ball back.
That's last tackle. No. Just there. Change over.
Losing the ball on the last, and as it was the last tackle, it means that it's the changeover. Good work, just chipping over the top of the line, and Roskell coming past Jason Croker and almost got the ball back.
It's good to see Josh White going to the line. Croker really didn't get back quick enough. He hit the stay line. He didn't know if he was going to run the ball. A little chip over, and it could have been regathered a little bit better, and I reckon there could have been a try on the other end.
Tell you what, Gary, he impresses me, Scott Roskell. Scored those 2 tries last week against Brisbane. He scored 1 try today, almost got over for another where he lost the ball, and that was good work then. So he's got a lot of talent, Scott Roskell. That's London.
Canberra make another mistake there, John, sorry.
Now, can they make Canberra pay for that mistake? They'd like to inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. White giving his pass. Ball to be played by Tony Mestrov. Peter Gill on the blind side. Gill showing it to Kras. Couldn't fool the defence though. Taken ball and all by Quinton Ponga. Terry Madison turning it for White. Then unloads wide, goes away to Dunford. Dunford slipping a pass away. They almost got through the gap. At the last moment, the player coming up, who was the fullback, Andrew Duncan, was taken to ground. Now away to Madison. Madison to Duncan once more. Losing the ball though, Canberra coming up with possession. Ball played by Bradley Clyde, just 10 out from his own line.
This is where the London Broncos now have got to get a little bit closer. Quinton Ponga coming up with a big hit there. Good cover there by Bradley Clyde to get down the ball quickly. Result in Canberra getting the ball. Now they've got to get out of their own red zone.
David Furner.
And mystery illness to Andrew McFadden. He's actually all right. He wasn't limping. They said there's no injuries, but he's dropped a couple of aspirin and having a head massage, so it might be a migraine.
Laurie Daly turning it back inside to Ken Nagus. Nagus putting the ball on the deck. It was picked up by Burnham. Referee says play on. Canberra 5 metres inside London territory, but then losing the ball. And London getting possession just near halfway. Terry Madison giving his pass to White.
Well, just what Josh White has done there. That's what their forwards have got to do. Kenny Nagus gets the ball away there. I thought the ball had just gone forward. That was a great ball though by Burnham to Bradley Clyde, but he comes up with a mistake. A rare mistake for Bradley Clyde we don't really see.
Russell Borden. Borden runs it straight at the defensive Luke Prittis, who has probably copped an accidental boot in the head, Luke Prittis. May have just got a cut over the eye, I think, at the moment, but he goes back into the defensive line. Loose pass picked up by Tollett, then away to Andrew Duncan. Duncan taken, though, in a good covering tackle by the Canberra defence. Matt Dunford. Dunford runs it to the 20. Gives his pass away to Madison, then to David Clowes, back inside to Terry Madison. Madison looking for a fire. O'Fire turned his pass away, but terrific work by Laurie Daly. Daly coming up with an absolute bell ringer to hit Peter Gill in a try-saver, but it's still alive through Martin O'Fire. Back to David Krause. Krause uses the kick too deep over the dead ball line.
Too deep over the dead ball line. It was over the balcony at the other end of the field. What a great tackle here by Daly. Watch this coming up right here. Whooshka. Peter Gill.
He read it brilliantly, Laurie Daly. He realised that was a tackle that had to be made. And didn't he make it well? So, Luke Prittis.
Terry. No, away, mate. Mate, you go. No, you, mate, you're in front. I've told you 3 times. Just wait, Brad.
So Tim Mander, the referee, has lost patience with London being up inside the 10. Terry Madison, their skipper, will go to the sin bin. You can hardly dispute that. They have been in front of him virtually all day. I know the penalty count is heavily in favour of Canberra, but to be realistic, there's a couple of other times that the referee could have penalised them as well.
Yeah, he certainly could have penalised them about 4 or 5 times. They take a quick tap.
And they had been warned that the next time it happened, someone would go to the bin as Jason Croker. Croker trying to get away from Tolson Tollett. 1.5 minutes until the break. London just have to make sure that they hold Canberra out until at least half-time. Furner slipping it away to Jason Croker. They're up to the London 20. Bradley Clyde. Clyde with the first settling tackle.
The referee's patience is getting tried too much here. They really are lying on the tackle too long.
Laurie Daly. Daly wide to Mullins. Mullins got away from a fire. He's heading for the corner. There'll be no stopping him. The moment he was away from a fire, you knew it was a try. And he'll improve the position for David Furner by putting it down virtually underneath the post. Try number 2 to Brett Mullins. Well, it's hard enough defending against Canberra when you've got the full contingent on the field. When you're one man short, it's nigh impossible. And Canberra in for yet another try.
Yeah, what a great pass here by Laurie Daly. Martin O'Fine actually slips over. I thought he had Mullins covered, but as you said, as he gets away from him, it's good night. The worst thing about it, they allow Mullins to go underneath the post and put the ball down once again, one-handed. That's a terrific ball from Laurie Daly. They all thought it was going to be, you just see Martin O'Fine slip over there. He gets a clear run to the try line, and Duncan can't cover him up.
Would have been interesting had Martin Afai been able to keep on his feet. Conversion successful by David Furner. I still tend to think that Mullins would have got the better of him. But David Furner converts. And so half-time here at Bruce Stadium, the Canberra Raiders get away to a convincing lead. It's Canberra 24 leading London 8.
A very gallant London Broncos, just not able to hold them out in the last few minutes there, so crucial before half-time. But it's great to see a competitive English club.
It is good to see. To Canberra's defence, when they scored the first try, they really sort of clocked off, and they needed someone like a Ricky Stewart to get their tails cracking. But it's only been just a couple of individual efforts which have sort of made Canberra lead the game. Really outside that, they've made about a half a dozen drop ball errors, giving the Broncos the opportunity to get back into the game.
Yes, Gary, it's really the individual class of people like Mullins and Laurie Daly that have made the difference in this first half.
That's right. I mean, you can't give cough-up errors with the likes of Laurie Daly and Brett Mullins. They'll take the chances, and as you've seen, they've scored the tries. Yeah,
I think that Gary Freeman must have backed Ken Nagus to score the first try, judging from the comments when Royston Lightning went across. But it's one of those things that Canberra can score from just about anywhere on the paddock, and you can see that even though they've made so many errors in this first half, that they're still dangerous when they've got the ball in hand.
Well, they're an absolute brilliant side. They haven't been playing well, as I said before. There's only been a couple of individual efforts. Laurie Daly, that wonderful chip over, like Laurie Daly, the power of the grubber or the chip. Two great exponents of that are Alfie Langer and Laurie Daly. We saw a try there, but also Luke Prittis made a great dart from dummy half. The London Broncos went to sleep, but they've been playing all right. Just a couple of little times where they lapsed, and of course a champion side with some brilliant players like the likes of Daly capitalise on that, and they're 6 points behind.
Paul, you're the most experienced player probably in the Salford team. If I could get you to draw on that experience, how could you bring the London Broncos together now and rally for the second half?
Well, it's just getting the troops together. I mean, I think London's been very, very unlucky. I mean, Scott Roscoe was at one end of the field. You know, if he would have scored, like, he would have changed the team round completely. You know, otherwise, what happened? Laurie Daly went down the field, superb chip over, bit of brilliance from him, straight under sticks. You know, that's gutted London, but you've got to rally the troops now. Come out, start off the first 10 minutes now will mean a hell of a lot to them. Get out there, get the defence right, and then start to work. No, like we was on about at the beginning, they'll have to throw the ball wide, or turn the ball back inside as soon as you get it on side of the flanks.
Well, I feel the Broncos have been playing pretty constructive football for that first 40 minutes. They've Josh White and Terry Madison, before he went to the sin bin, has been steering them around the paddock quite well. The big men, Mestroff, taking the ball up, and Matty Dunford as well, and quick play the ball. So they're doing a pretty good job, except Canberra, at isolated times, are doing it better.
Well, they're showing a bit more variety than Halifax did, for instance, and you said that, you made the comment that they'd even trouble a side like Canterbury if they played that well against them.
Well, I'll tell you what, very true, because Canterbury, even though they had a big victory today, still aren't playing well, although this might get them on the rails. But just on London themselves as well, the kicking for touch has been great. It slows the game down, and they've been laying on the players. We saw the one fella go to the sin bin in Terry Madison, but they're slowing those sort of teams down. They've got to do that. And, you know, the score was 24 points to 8. You know, certainly they're not disgraced. And there's plenty of fight left in the Broncos yet.
Paul, you've had a few words under your breath during that first half in relation to the refereeing decisions. Do you still think that the interpretation of the play of the ball in particular and laying on the man is markedly different than it is at home?
Yeah, at home. I mean, about 5 instances there where they played the ball, foot never even touched the ball. You know, and they just played on. In England, there have been 5 penalties. You know, I mean, lying on now, you know, he's letting a lot go with lying on. In England, you know, they've turned all that round. You know, the first 10 minutes of the game, if you lie on, you're up and off.
But, Gary, when in Rome, you just have to adapt, don't you? And it doesn't seem that the English sides are adapting their style of play to our interpretation of the rules.
That's right. I mean, it's all right having to go at the referees, but at the end of the day, we've got to go and make the tackles and see how long we can hold them down and then play by the referee, and we've got to get up and get off them.
Any dangers there for Mal Meninga in the opposite room? Because there's a 16-point margin that's pretty comfortable, and you know the English sides haven't been able to come back strongly in second halves, but no one wants to lose to these clubs either.
Well, they went to sleep when they were leading 6-0, right? They can't afford to do that. They lead 24 points to 8 now, so they can't afford to do that. Laurie Daly's decided to press the attacking button with 10 minutes to go in the first half, and they've come up with 2 great tries. But you can't afford to go to sleep. Like London Broncos, they've got about 6 or 7 Aussies in the side. They are playing pretty well, and as I said before, they play the ball quickly, some great dummy half running, and they have been turning the ball inside too, as Canberra have been, the Broncos, and they're making some good yardage.
Yeah. That is where they have been making their yards. We'll go to the second half in just a moment. Let's have a look at the first half stats. And, of course, the vital one is the Canberra's in front by 16, but they have missed a lot of tackles, London. That has cost them dearly, which they haven't been able to take account of the fact that Canberra have made a lot of errors. In fact, the errors, which aren't on that board, are 9-6 in favour of London.
Just on the missed tackles, Paul, I want you to come in on this. 19 missed tackles are the same as in the game previous to this when Halifax played Canterbury. A lot of the English sides seem to go grabbing, rather than going in with the shoulder, grabbing and missing the tackle and tackling the fellow 10 more metres further down the field.
Yeah, it's the contact isn't half as physical as it is in Australia. And obviously if you miss 19 tackles, it means you've got to chase back as far as the bloke goes who you've missed. You know, so things like that will tie your team down.
Mind you, just quickly looking at the penalties too, it really has helped Canberra 6 to 1.
Yeah, it has. Well, that point's been made with most of the games we've seen so far, with the English clubs not adapting to our style of interpretation, so the penalties have gone against them. But John McCoy and Gary Freeman have got a game on their hands at Bruce Stadium. Let's go back there now for the second half.
It's the London Broncos back onto the field here at the Bruce Stadium. And here's Laurie Daly bringing up the home side, the Canberra Raiders. Quinton Pongia there with Laurie Daly. Bradley Clyde and Jason Croker just in behind them. Star-studded side, the Canberra Raiders. They had a very slow start to the season in the Australian Telstra Cup, the domestic competition. But they really have started to hit form over the last couple of weeks. Have won 7 on the trot now. And at their best, well, there's few sides that can hold them. Certainly the Brisbane Broncos would be one side who can match it with brilliance with Canberra, but they are an awesome sight, the Green Machine, when they're in full flight in recent days, recent weeks. That's exactly what they have been.
I think the big turnaround for the Canberra side has been their defence, Johnny, and Mal Meninga has worked over that in the last probably 7 to 8 weeks, and it has turned the whole season around. From at the start of the season, they lost 4 in a row, and everyone had written them off. Well, they certainly are a class side and can turn things around. This is exactly what the London Broncos have to do here today. Well, turn things around and go forward and make less mistakes in the second half.
A tough task now facing London for about the next 7 minutes, while they're a man short, and a vital man it is. Their captain, Terry Madison, playing at 5/8 today. As Canberra bring it back to 10 from halfway. Brett Hetherington reaches the halfway mark. Up the short side through Bradley Clyde. Clyde gives it away to Jason Croker. Croker got back in on the inside of Dunford. Got to 30 metres out from the line.
Well, that's a great set of 6, really, isn't it? There's Bradley Clyde going for a chip and chase.
Clyde using the kick. It goes into the in goal. In fact, will go touch in goal. London will restart with a tap at the 20.
Well, you just got to look from the kick-off. They have made virtually 80 metres in a set of 6.
Let's go down to the sideline. And Sean Edwards, who's injured today for London, is there to have a talk with us and tell us what was said at half-time.
Well, obviously, Tony Curry was very dirty about the referee, but going to get used to that. 6-1 penalty count. I think the difference in the two teams basically has been the finishing. Our approach work has been very good in the first half. Maybe even better than Canberra's, but every time Canberra have had a chance, they've punished us because, you know, the back line is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think the only thing really, matey, is that your defence sometimes is just falling off some easy tackles. It allows Canberra to make those big yards up the middle, and then you've got to contend with the likes of Daly, Mullins, and Royston Lightning and Kenny Nags. It makes it very, very tough, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that, Gary, but I think if Scott Roskell would have scored that try, maybe we could have got it drawing. But like you say, that's what football's about. The last 5 minutes of each half, and Canberra's punished us heavily.
Well, just one quick one. When are you back, and how is the injury?
Hopefully we'll be back next week against Canterbury. I hurt my hamstring, you know, giving the final pass to the try at Brisbane, but hopefully we'll be back next week.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for speaking with us, Sean Edwards, the injured London Bronco. Desperately would like to have him out there today, but that's not to be, as Quinton Pongia is able to give his pass away to Laurie Daly. Here's danger to Ben Kennedy, got it at the second attempt. Gets to 12 metres out from the line. Tulson Tollett made the tackle. Quickly away to Laurie Daly. Daly on to Ruben Wiki. Wiki trying to use his brute strength, is 5 metres short, and again up the blind side go Canberra. Only 1 metre out from the line. That's where the ball is played, and the last is coming up for the Raiders. Daly will use the kick, putting it deep across field. Martin Afire going up for it and takes it. Now he was in the field of play, Martin Afire, but did well to get his pass away, and London will bring the ball out to about 12 metres out from their own line.
That was a great take, but also the offload. You see, gets around there, gets up nice and high, drops the ball back off there to another London Broncos player. That's
Tony
tremendous.
Martin, who's come onto the field for London, but that was good work by Martin Afire under plenty of pressure. So as London bring it out from their own line, let's take you to the sideline, and Craig Bellamy from the coaching staff at Canberra. Craig, what did Mel Meninga have to say during the break?
Mel just was quite happy with our first half. Probably our goal line defence was a touch brittle, so we don't think we were communicating real well there, and probably wasn't getting up off our line as quick as we'd like. But overall, you know, we were happy to come in at the score as it was at half-time.
How's the young bloke, McFadden?
He's got a bit of a knock to the head, and he's not feeling real good at the moment. He had a great first half while he was on there, but I don't think we'll see him again today.
Thanks very much, Craig. Craig Bellamy from the Canberra Raiders coaching staff. There's another kick-finding touch from London, and so Jason Burnham will work the scrum for the Raiders.
Hold it back, Martin.
Laurie Daly. Daly runs the ball at Duncan. Borden comes in to help him in the tackle. Once more to Laurie Daly, then away to Wiki and on to Nagus. Nagus was almost through. Matt Dunford came across well in cover defence. Up the blind side once more. Brett Mullins making a break and getting into centre field, and slips the pass away. It came through Prudis and then away to Nagus. He's 20 metres out from the London line. They're looking dangerous from Burnham, then away to Daly. Switch back on the inside to Mullins. Mullins, 10 metres out from the line, is held on to and pulled to ground. Plays the ball quickly away to Burnham. This is Clyde. Back to Laurie Daly. Daly will burst through and score. Laurie Daly in to score once more for the Canberra Raiders, and they get away to lead by 28-8 with a kick to come.
Well, I think if the London Broncos were going to get penalised at all, they shouldn't have been penalised here, because there was no one behind the referee whatsoever. The referee plays a good advantage, which allows Laurie Daly to get through some easy tackles to score underneath the post. This is the break by Mullins. Terrific effort here to get away from players. Great inside ball there to Prentice. Everyone backs up so sensational in this team here. Out to Nagus. It gets down, and the big thing again, the Broncos really haven't got time to get back. Bradley Clyde offloads here to Daly, and really some easy tackles he gets through there of Mestrov.
Well,
Tony Curry be happy with that one.
They're having trouble getting back the 10 in defence, but it's doubly hard for them, given that they're a man short in defence at the moment. Here's David Furner. They're making it easy for Furner today, scoring the tries underneath the post. And so the Canberra Raiders now lead the London Broncos by 30 points to 8 here at Bruce Stadium.
Once again, you see Jason Burnham running across the field, picks up Bradley Clyde. The big thing is that they're changing angles all the time. If you haven't got a defence line that goes up staggered, you're always going to find some holes around the middle of the ruck, Johnny.
So the restart taken by Canberra. And it's really backs to the wall now as far as London is concerned. Tony Mestrov Brings it back to his own 20. Given away by Josh White to Peter Gill. Gill sending a pass that was lost. Andrew Duncan coming into the line, losing the ball, the turnover. And so Canberra have it only 12 metres out from the line.
Well, that's one thing the London Broncos don't need to drop it here.
Daly away to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy just stands in the tackle, sends the easiest of passes away, and Ken Nagus, who scored 6 tries last week, goes in to score his first this afternoon. It's all too easy now for Canberra, 34 points to 8.
Once again, it comes down as a mistake by the Broncos there. The London Broncos, their own 25, taking the ball up, loses it down there. Oh, I'll tell you, they keep doing this and not completing their sets of 6, they will find themselves in all sorts of trouble. A great short ball there. Kennedy goes through the hole, brushes off Tolson Tyler, gets a great ball there to Nagus. And mate, he just beats the fullback and Duncan very, very easily.
So Ken Nagus goes in to score the try. David Furner, with one of his more difficult kicks of the day. He's about 10 metres to the side of the upright. Still easy for David Furner, and Canberra now lead London by 36 points to 8. As we watch this try with Ben Kennedy slipping through the tackle of Tollett, getting the arm free to Ken Nagus. And Nagus over for yet another try. How easy.
Finally, some good news. John Terry Madison back on the field. He's back from the sin bin.
Well, he's been the player that they have missed really around that ruck area, control and then going forward for them. They've scored something like 3 tries while he's been off the field. So it has been pretty costly that last 10 minutes.
That it has. Peter Gill with the play the ball. Robbie Beasley looking for the runner. That runner was Tony Mestrov. Russell Borden. Borden with a good unload back to Beasley. Ball and all tackle made by Ben Kennedy. London get inside Canberra's half. Terry Madison tackled on number 5. Beasley gives it back to White. White uses the kick. Straight over the head of Jason Croker and into touch.
Well, it's all right having the kick and getting it out and getting the scrum and slowing the game down, but I think when you're behind by so many points, 36 points to 8, you're better off getting your players back behind you, going forward to the line, putting the ball in there, get someone to go through, try and put some pressure on the fullback and maybe get a chance of getting the ball back. Just playing that 6 out for a kick and going for a scrum and give them back the ball, truly at this stage of the game is a waste of time.
Simon Wolford's gone on for the first time.
So Simon Wolford wearing the number 9 jumper for the Canberra Raiders. Here's another break being made by Ken Nagus. Nagus looking to try and add to his tally of 1 try in this second half. I don't know that he'll reach the 6 he scored last week, but gee, he is an attacking genius. But an intercept taken by Josh White and very much against the run of play. Josh White, the little halfback from the London Broncos, will go in and score. So Josh White saying to his players, having scored the try, it's not over yet. We're not going to throw the towel in. Josh White takes an intercept and scores 36-12 with a kick to come.
The Canberra side trying to go wide. I tell you, the ball had gone past Josh White. It was all over, bar the shouting. Long ball there by Burnham, caught by Josh White. And just a straight sprint to the try line. And a good effort too by the young halfback. He's played pretty well for the London Broncos here today. That's great.
So Josh White goes in to score the try for London. Yeah, you're right. Had that intercept not been taken, it would have been all over Red Rover. But he took the chance, Josh White, and it paid off for him.
Well, that's what you've got to do in these situations. Behind like that, you either got to take the pass or not take the pass. He took it, scored the try, and it's on the scoreboard.
Terry Madison has missed with both of his shots at goal today. They've been very difficult ones from near touch. This one in front. Terry Madison converts. Was always an extremely good goal kicker during his years in Australia with Eastern Suburbs. Before, of course, he moved to the Broncos. Had a 68% success rate in Australia. As we watch the try again, the intercept taken. Ben Kennedy thought he had the ball. All of a sudden, Josh White said, here, that's mine. And in to score, little Josh White.
And in the other end there, on the Canberra side, would have been Jason Croker, who probably would have scored down the other side.
So the restart. And Canberra running the ball back from inside their own 20.
Interesting to note the hit-ups, Canberra 96 to the London Broncos 82.
Jason Burnham to play the ball. 15 on their own side of halfway, the Raiders. Ben Kennedy gets to his feet after the tackle of Peter Gill. Brett Hetherington getting through. He was almost through the gap. Held on to, though, by Tony Mestrov. Daly turning the pass back on the inside. Looking to get the ball away, Pongia couldn't do so. Lost the ball as he tried to get that arm free to slip the pass around the corner. Knock on by Quinton Pongia.
Yeah, quickly just going to the top of Josh White there, trying to flick that ball there, but just drops it forward. There's plenty of Canberra players backing up there. You can see the error count, of course. Canberra, unusual to see them making more errors than the London side.
So the scrum won by London. Terry Madison put to ground in the tackle of Jason Burnham. Josh White giving his pass away to 80 Spencer. Tolson Tollett almost through the gap. David Furter clings to him. Josh White unloading his pass through Gill to Martin to Afire. Martin Afire looking to stand in the tackle of Brett Mullins. Called on to play it. They're 30 metres out from the Canberra line. Martin having to go back to pick that ball up. Will play it on the last for London. White uses the kick. This time towards Royston Lightning's wing. Lightning can't take it. It finds touch. A few metres out from the line, so this scrum with the Canberra feed will be 10 metres out from the Canberra line and 20 in from the touchline.
Well, Josh White's kicking the ball. He's done a good effort of getting the Canberra side down about 5 metres off their try line. But the other big thing is he's got no one to pass the ball. If he's going to run it, there's no chance whatsoever he's going to have one to pass because they're all in front of him. Interesting to know that Canberra have had only 6 kicks in general play with the London Broncos 12.
Right there.
Royston Lightning in his first receiver after the scrum win by Canberra. Hurt in that tackle too, Royston Lightning.
Over here, mate. Just take it over here.
Referee giving no sympathy to Royston Lightning, calling on another player to play the ball.
I think he might have been just a little bit unlucky to catch the knees of Gill in his back there.
So as the trainers work on Royston Lightning in back play, scrum one, Laurie Daly, in fact, has to go round the fallen Royston Lightning. David Furter to play it. 20 short of halfway. Quinton Pongia running it straight at 80 Spencer. Bumped away from Spencer. Couldn't beat the second line of defence. That was Mestrov. Back on the short side, it's called for by Laurie Daly. Ken Magus tackled by Borden over the top. Martin underneath. Canberra now on the last, using the kick. And this kick will go into touch. Greg Barwick going back for it. It's Barwick who's just come off the reserves bench for the London Broncos.
That really was a better effort by the London Broncos there to keep Canberra inside their own half, and Laurie Daly coming up with the kick on the right-hand side of the field, where Josh White was doing that all in the first half. At least now they get a chance of the scrum, 7 against 7. So hopefully they can put on a play instead of just taking it one off the run and get tackled and try their arm. Josh White looks like he's to the leg.
Josh White.
No, I'm wrong, it's Beasley, the hooker.
It is Robbie Beasley just getting attention as in back play. Royston Lightning is okay, albeit a little ginger over there on the right wing for Canberra, but he's back in the line.
On line now, Laurie. No let up for the Broncos. David Wesley goes on for Brett Hetherington. It's just a brilliant bench for Canberra.
Tolson Tollett, tackled by Laurie Daly. Josh White this time runs it to the line and then is dumped by David Furter.
You guys are in front of me. Never came back.
This time against Canberra for being up inside the 10. London get the penalty. Only their second of the game.
Oh, they're all in front of Tim Manda there. They're all about 2 or 3 metres in front. I just wonder next time, will he send someone to the bin?
Peter Gill, as first receiver on the short side, gives it away to Russell Borden. He got away from Furner. Couldn't get away, though, from the tackle of Prudis. Matt Dunford with a good unload to Gill, who switches it back into centre field to 80 Spencer. Thought he saw a half break. Closed on him very quickly, though, as he was put to ground by Jason Burnham. Greg Barwick. London with a quick play the ball, getting to 10 metres out from the line. Gill able to unload. Mark Lafire, a fire back down the blind side. The kick goes over the touchline.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing the ending of that set of 6 like that. Martin Lafire trying to get the old chip over and get the ball in the field of play. Martin Lafire coming around, knows no one's at home. Royston Lightning stuck up there. Seen better chip kicks from Martin before. I don't think that's one of his best ones.
Bend down. So Canberra work the scrum. And make the break immediately. Straight through. How easy was that? Canberra just running into open spaces. Ruben Wiki set sail for the line, being chased by Tolson Tollett. Tollett, to his credit, hasn't given up the chase. But Ruben Wiki has run some 80 metres to score the try, made to look oh so easy by the Canberra Raiders as they hit 40. Canberra 40, London 14, and another easy kick to come for David Furner.
Well, he did make it look so easy up the scrum here. Greg Barwick, he gets rid of him quite easy, goes up high as Barwick, and Ruben Wiki's just too strong, and then there's no one at home. Everyone giving chase. The only person that's close enough to him really is Jason Croker. He thought he might get a try, but there's no chance after running 85 metres that big old Ruben Wiki was ever going to pass the ball.
Ruben Wiki is a very tough customer, a rugged defender, and as you can see, when he's in attack and given a little bit of space or a player who goes high on him, he's got such terrific upper body strength, Ruben Wiki, that he can simply brush away from tacklers who really aren't committed. As David Furner with the attempted conversion of the Wiki try. David Furner converts, and the Canberra Raiders lead the London Broncos by 42 points to 14 here in the Australian national capital.
Once again, we get it's just really an easy tackle that should have been made. If someone had gone low, Terry Madison, Greg Barwick had to go low. Madison would have just come over the top. Ruben Wiki seen the open spaces. No one was going to catch him.
London have made another change. Andrew Hamilton's gone back on for Adrian Spencer.
So London, after the restart, but still inside their own red zone from Madison to White. Furner and Burnham going in to make the tackle. Getting outside their own 20. Away to Martin Lafire. Tackle by Royston Lightning. Russell Borden. Borden hits it hard but runs into a solid tackle. Knocked over by Quinton Pongia. Matt Dunford put to ground on tackle number 5. White uses the kick. This time going over the head of Ken Nagus. Won't find touch. Nagus retrieves it inside his own in goal. Then sends the pass to Jason Croker. Croker got away from Tollett. Getting down the blind side. He's still going. Tollett comes the second time. Gives it back to Ruben Wiki. Here's Ruben Wiki's second try in the space of about 90 seconds. Ruben Wiki underneath the post for the Canberra Raiders. 46 to 14.
I just wondered that pass by Kenny Nagus wasn't just about a half a metre forward. If it wasn't, that is a tremendous try. Poor old London Broncos, look at that. Just watch this pass if we can pick it up. No, that's a great pass. That's excellent work by both Croker and Nagus. One, Croker staying wide enough, but what about the Fenn? He just gets rid of them all over the place. And Ruben Wiki backing up. Scores underneath the post. I wonder who's going to kick this one. Oh, they give it to David Fell. I thought Ruben might kick his own goal. He's happy about scoring that one. It wasn't he, Ruben Wiki. Big smile.
David Furner with another easy attempt. 7 from 7 becomes 8 from 8. And Canberra lead London by 48 points to 14 here at Bruce Stadium. The try again, Jason Croker with the fend to push away from Tolson Tollett.
Another change to the Broncos. Salter's gone on for Tony Mestrov, but they really need more than that at the moment.
Yeah, Matthew Salter coming on for London. So 48 to 14. But I'm sure that Mel Meninga will be saying to his side, look, don't let up, because for and against can be very important in this competition.
One thing you look at, the Canberra's defence has been absolutely outstanding here today, and also last week. Even though they won by 70 points in last week's game against Halifax, their defence really paved the way for them to score the amount of tries they did.
Well, remembering that from the A pool, in which Canberra is the top sides are in Pool A, only 3 of the sides will go through, so you could be undefeated but miss out simply on for and against. And so the Canberra bench know that, and they'll be saying to their side, look, just keep pouring on the points. In the long run, it could prove vital. But after their big win last week and another big win coming up today, you would tend to think
good
that
hands by
Canberra
Josh
are
White,
short of getting there.
Just good hands here by Josh White. Terrible pass from the dummy half area. Bent right over, right at his toes. Great take.
Peter Gill turning it back to Salter. Salter standing in the tackle of Kennedy. Can't get his pass away though. Terry Madison taking it right on the advantage line, slipping his pass away through Dunford, who got it away to Barwick, taken ball and all in the tackle of Laurie Daly. Josh White. White chipping over the top of the line. Croker waits for it, takes it and then drops it, Jason Croker. Referee will rule the knock on, which I think is fair enough. The crowd don't agree, but there was no doubt in my mind that that ball had travelled towards the opposition try line.
He had his back to the... But there goes the ball. Just... Oh, it might be just a little bit unlucky there. It might have gone the other way for him. Play on. Just looking on that replay there, Johnny. He did have his back to the field, to the opposition's try line, but the ball came about half a metre forward.
5 yard. Jason Croker let the touch judge know that he thought it went backwards too.
You can't repeat what he said, mate.
So the Robbie Beasley going to the blood bin. As we wait for this scrum to be fed. Now, the problem is, have London got a replacement? And they have 80 Spencer will come back off the bench.
They're looking a bit light on too, John. With 17 minutes to go, they've only got one interchange left, so things aren't getting any better for them.
So a blood bin, of course, which doesn't count as an interchange, but 80 Spencer on and goes into the hooking role, and it's won by London. London trying to cut their way through. Barwick looking to get his arms around the corner to pick up Tolson Tollett. Loses the ball, Greg Barwick.
Yeah, they'll be a little bit disappointed there, Greg Barwick. Tolson Tollett, it looks like, goes to the line. Good work by Josh White. Gets the ball out nice and wide. Terry Madison. Again, that is Greg Barwick trying to get the ball to Tolson Tollett at the last second. Just trying to push the pass, and that was only the first tackle. It's also to note, Canberra really have made more tackles. They made 167. The London Broncos 157.
Jason Burnham having a scamper out of dummy half. Gets to his own 20-metre line. Bradley Clyde got away from Salter. This is Laurie Daly.
I think that's the first time Laurie's actually been tackled with the ball.
I think you're right. Simon Wolford giving a short pass on to David Wesley. So the wide ball once more for Ruben Wiki. This time Tolson Tollett has hold of him. Wolford to Burnham. Jason Burnham uses the kick. Turning London around. Greg Barwick going back into his own in goal. He'll have to retrieve this ball. Can he get out of the in goal? He's beat the one, can't beat the second though. David Furner with a crunching tackle. So a goal line dropout coming up for the London Broncos.
Oh, how scary is that? The kick goes down. You've got to pick the ball up. Greg Barwick turns around. Hello, there's Ruben Wiki, Dave Furner, there's Croker. Oh, there's Prentice, there's everyone there, bar any of his teammates trying to help him get out.
And London very slow to get back to take this goal line dropout. I suppose you could really blame them, could you?
I think they probably should try a short little drop out here, try and retrieve the ball back instead of chasing 40 metres up the field and trying to tackle some Canberra players.
So Josh White to take the goal line dropout for the Broncos. David Wesley takes it and runs it back at the defence.
They've got another fresh man running at them too. Luke DeVico's on for Ben Kennedy.
Attempted intercept by Josh White, paid off for him last time with a try. Doesn't this time. Knock on by Josh White.
He's a little bit unlucky there. British getting out of the dummy half area, just trying to go for a little short ball to the Canberra guys that are backing up around that ruck area.
Take it back, fellas, back.
If he hadn't knocked that ball on, I think we could have seen another try underneath the post.
No push. Stay down, Matt. No, you got to bind properly, mate. You got to bind properly.
Terry Madison is not onside at the scrum. On the right-hand side of the scrum, he is miles offside. There he goes.
Jason Burnham feeding the scrum and winning it to Ken Nagus. Nagus got away from Bowen, getting into open spaces. Just wrong foots Peter Gill and makes it look so easy, Ken Nagus. Try number 2 for Ken Nagus and his 8th try of the World Club Challenge. He's loving the Visa World Club Challenge, Ken Nagus. Second try for Kenny Nagus, and Canberra go past 50. They lead by 52 to 14.
Oh, a little bit disappointing there. I tell you, Greg Barwick wouldn't be too pleased. He'd come up with the ball behind there, they had the dropout, and then there's a scrum fed there. And Kenny Nagus just too much pace ready to get around. But again, it's just poor defence, I think. The Greg Barwick going low there. Didn't get close enough to Kenny Nagus. Then it's just a straight sprint to the try line. No one was going to get him. Tony Martin comes across, but he had as much chance as me as tackling Kenny Nagus today. None.
David Furner lining up another shot at goal. His teammates have helped him today, David Furner. He hasn't had a difficult one as yet. And that's 9 from 9. So, the Canberra Raiders 54, London 14.
Once again, you see Kenny Nagus going out to his right. I think Greg Barber could have made the tackle, but he's got to get closer. Tony Martin tried his hardest to get across there. But mate, this guy's in full flight, as we know last week, scoring 6 tries. As Canberra go for the short kick off and get it.
And get it back to David Furner. Switch quickly, it comes to Laurie Daly. Daly has Mullins with him, tries to run himself, and Beasley makes the tackle on Laurie Daly. Only 10 metres out from the line. Played quickly, given across field once more to Luke DeVico. DeVico heads it towards the goalpost and is tackled by Tulson Tollett. Given away now to Ken Nagus. Nagus looking for his 3rd try. He's 2 metres out from the line. Ball played, given by Wolford to DeVico, and he simply slams his way through and scores right next to the upright. Luke DeVico, the try scorer, and it's 58 to 14.
Well, when you think it all goes back to the kickoff where the London Broncos thought the ball was going to be kicked deep, but it wasn't. A little short kick there. Prentice comes up with the ball. Great effort there by Furner to back him up. And then as you give the ball back to the Canberra side, you know, within 15 metres out, they are going to hurt you. Laurie Daly cutting through the middle there. They try to get a quick play of the ball. The players, the London Broncos, try to hold down. Prentice runs across, picks up the Vico on the inside pass. I think he'd be pretty happy with the big front row score on that one.
Smart thinking by Canberra, and yet another one right next to the post for David Furner. 10 from 10. I don't think he scored a try, David Furner. Has he? He's got 20 points up. I don't think he scored a try.
There's that try once again. Prentice just jumping out the dummy half to the left-hand side. The big fella DeVico. He's pretty happy about that.
1 try, has he, David Furner? Got 1 try? We'll just check with Graham.
Statistician.
Graham Roberts, our statistician, will tell us. And he's certainly got 20 as far as goal kicks are concerned. So this is Matthew Salter giving the pass back to Terry Madison. 60 points to 14. 10 minutes remaining. Well, they ran up 70 points last week against Halifax. Can they beat that today? Awesome sight. when they are in full flight, they are a terrific rugby league team, the Canberra Raiders. Wonderful side. An interesting game next week when they line up against Wigan.
Yeah, very interesting as Tolson Tollett comes across the field. But the big thing is that I go back to their defence because they really have turned the whole season around, and even in this Visa World Cup Club Challenge, that their defence has been outstanding.
Certainly has. Andrew Hamilton put over on tackle number 5. On the short side, it goes to Josh White. White once more using the kick. He'll find it. It's 15 metres out from the Canberra line. 60-14. Canberra leading London as Ben Kennedy comes on to replace Bradley Clyde. Brad Clyde being given early mark by his coach Mel Meninga.
Just wait. They're right? Okay, Jason, in there. Wait there. Wait.
Ken Nagus working down the blind side, taking that pass from the scrum base from Jason Burnham.
Hands out.
Jason Croker going from dummy half.
Josh White just giving Kenny Nagus a bit of a head push in the mud there.
Burnham to Quinton Pompier. 10 inside his own half. Wolford to Burnham to Daly to Furner. Furner got away from Martin. Peter Gill gets him at the second attempt. Inside London's territory. Last coming up, Laurie Daly. Daly uses the high kick, being chased through by Jason Croker. Up above the pack goes Greg Barwick and takes it, and then is put to ground by Ruben Wickie.
That's a great take by Greg Barwick. Had his back turned to the defence, took it magnificently. Watch this, never takes his eyes off the ball. Ruben Wickie coming in defence as he hits the ground. Wooshka. Good, that's a great take.
Tony Martin tackle for London, right on his own 20-metre mark. Martin a fire who's been in plenty of sides that have won by big scores like this one, particularly when he was playing for the mighty Wigan. He's on the receiving end of a drubbing this afternoon. Andrew Hamilton. On the last now, the London Broncos. Josh White on the short side. This time makes a mistake and puts it out on the full. It'll be a changeover. Canberra will get the ball for the London mistake on the last. And the changeover is 5 inside London's territory.
Well, you take that out of Josh White's game. I think he's played pretty good all day long.
Laurie Daly floating the pass. Royston Lightning had to go back to pick it up and then slipped away from Martin of Fire. Gets on the inside of Martin, gave it back to Ben Kennedy. Good tackle by Peter Gill in cover. The Raiders looking dangerous though once more. Luke DeVico gives a one-handed pass, went to nobody originally, then was very quickly picked up. First of all by Wolford, then away to Laurie Daly, and Daly will go in and score.
He's had a great captain's knock, hasn't he, Laurie Daly? Controlling, he's pretty happy with the try. When he scored that one underneath the post again. 64-14, and I think he will kick this goal. Once again, the London Broncos not really putting the players on the ground. DeVico getting a little pass away, and Daly just burst into hole. That's a great ball to be held up by the young hooker there in Wolford. And Daly just strolls over underneath the post, puts it down. I'd say he'd be pretty happy with that one.
Laurie Daly, his third try of the afternoon. Of course, he didn't play last week when Canberra scored 70 points against Halifax. David Furner takes the score to 66. Canberra 66, London 14. 6 minutes remaining here at Bruce Stadium.
That's just a great short ball there by Wolford. And Laurie Daly, really, there's no one back there to even get near him. Just jogs over, puts the ball down, looks back, says thank you very much.
So David Furner is getting plenty of practice with the goal kicking today, and the restarts. As he kicks deep, Terry Madison is able to take it, gives it away to Matthew Salter, who ambles up into the Canberra defence. Wrestled to ground by David Wesley.
Just going back to Josh White, John, I think he's had a pretty fine game, barring that kick he put out on the full there. He's tried his little heart out here today, trying to get the side going forward, putting those kicks in, making the ground for them, but really they just lack a little bit of ball control and putting the player on the ground at vital times.
Andrew Hamilton looking to get through the Canberra defence, but there's absolutely no way through the DeVico tackle. Terry Madison. Madison switches it to Russell Borden. Borden saw a half gap, did well to unload back to Madison, to Gill, to Martin. Had a fire on the outside. Tony Martin goes himself. Eventually put to ground by the Canberra defence. 5 tackles gone on, they run it on the last. Tony Martin uses the kick ahead for Martin of fire. Dropping back for it though will be Ken Nagus. Nagus was back in his in goal, not effectively held, runs it back, tries to get away from the defence. Salter eventually is underneath him, drags Nagus to ground, 10 out from his own line. Jason Croker lost the ball there, Croker. Well, I thought he did. I thought there was a little knock on in there by Jason Croker. The referee says, play on. Luke DeVico, one-handed pass, knocked back by London. This is picked up by Robbie Beasley. Beasley down the short side, got inside the tackle of Wolford, 11 metres out. Can they score a try? Salvage something from the wreck, London. From White, then away to Tollett. Tollett's pass on to Peter Gill. Gill tries to go through, can't. The defence holds on to him as he's put to ground, knocked over by Quinton Pongia. Greg Barwick gets to 2 metres from the line. Josh White. White looking for a runner. It's Borden. Back on the ground to White. Slung back across field. Andrew Hamilton shed the first line of defence. Can't get away from the second. Simon Wolford puts him over. To Peter Gill. Gill runs it to the line. Short pass on to Terry Madison. And Madison goes in to score a try for the London Broncos. Terry Madison, their captain, is over for London. 66-18. And Terry Madison, will he have the shot at goal himself, or will he give it to Greg Barwick?
Great ball here by Peter Gill. Goes to the line, draws the fence. DeVico. Reuben Wickie stays out just a little bit too long. Wasn't too sure. He had 2 players on the outside of him, but Terry Madison doing a great job at running to the hole. That is a tremendous pass there. Reuben just going a little bit fraction high there. I think he just pulled out that tackle just in time.
Terry Madison will attempt the conversion of his own try. And Terry would probably like to use up 3 minutes to kick this goal so that he doesn't have to restart.
That's one of your best, Johnny. He's only got 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to go.
Well, Canberra, who put on 70 last week, they've got up 66 so far today. Madison's kick is over. So the London Broncos bring up 20 points. Tend to forget that under normal circumstances. 20 would be a very competitive score, but when the opposition's got 66, you're not in the ball game.
Once again, we see Peter Gill there, just ran to the line, drawing DeVico, and over he goes. That's great play, really, because they are way behind, but at least they haven't stopped trying. That's a great effort by the London Broncos to get that try so late in this part of the game.
Terry Madison, who said he's going to have one more season in London before he'll probably then decide to call it a day as far as playing is concerned, and he'd like to come back to Australia to take on a coaching role, perhaps with a junior side to start with. I'm sure all the good coaches start, don't they, in the juniors, Gary Freeman?
Well, that's where I started. Very junior, under 16s.
And doing an extremely good job with the Parramatta under 16s. Into a grand final next week and undefeated. We wish you the best of luck when you come up against North Sydney.
If I don't turn up Sunday, you know what's happening.
We'll forgive you. Laurie Daly. Canberra trying to say, can we beat the 70 of last week? Royston Lightning gives it back to Brett Mullins. If anyone can score a try from nowhere, it's this fella. Mullins is put over. Just near halfway, 1 minute remaining. David Furner. Furner slipping a pass to Luke DeVico. The ball went to ground. Terry Madison goes in to pick up the dregs for London. Scott Roskell, who scored a try early on, hasn't had many chances since that first try.
Yeah, Canberra really just forcing the ball now. Burnham coming up with a mistake there. Terry Madison coming over the top and just covering the ball. Good work to cover from that ruck area.
Josh White. White's pass on to Borton. He slipped into that tackle of Ruben Wiki. Gets immediately to his feet and plays it. Hamilton got away from Wiki. Gets the pass away in the tackle of Pongia from Barwick. The pass was knocked down. Brett Mullen's got a hand to it. Touched by the Canberra Raiders, so the tackle count is restarting. Not that it really matters that much because we're inside the last 5 seconds now. Long pass out to Scott Roskell. Roskell uses the little chip ahead. Going back for it though is Jason Croker. Croker takes the ball, and for London's point of view, they're very happy to hear the hooter go. And Canberra, full marks to the Canberra Raiders. They're making every post a winner in the Visa Club Challenge. 70 points to 6 last week against Halifax, and 66 points to 20 it is today. The Canberra Raiders over the London Broncos.
Well, they have certainly played amazing football here today. Scored some great tries. See Laurie Daly there. He's very, very happy with the way his side's performed, being the captain today while Ricky Stewart was out. And, of course, McFadden, can't really forget him. Had a great first 20 or 30 minutes of the game before he came up with that bad headache, that migraine. But this guy here certainly led by example. He knows he's got to go there, congratulate the crowd, because they have turned up today. It has been cold, but it's good to see them turn out and see their home side.
Let's take you to the sideline, and Matt McEwen has with him Bradley Clyde.
Well, Brad, the London Broncos put a bit of a scare in you leading midway through the first half, but you guys really struck back.
Well, in the first 20 minutes, we knew that they'd be coming out pretty tough, and we didn't realise that, well, we scored the first points and probably relaxed a little bit, but to their credit, they bounced back, and they scored 20 points, and which is, you know, a few more than what the team last week scored.
You had an awful start to the season. Now you guys get in front and you keep on going on with it. You seem intent on racking up as much points against every side you play. Yeah, that's right. We're pretty disappointed with the way we started the season. Everyone's probably got that in the back of their mind as a bit of motivation. So, you know, to the boys' credit today, it was a freezing cold day. The track was a bit muddy, and they concentrated all day, which was very good. You've made a great start to the World Club Challenge. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
There he is, Bradley Clyde. Played extremely well this afternoon for the Canberra Raiders in their 66 points to 20 victory. As we take you back to the sideline, and from the London Broncos, Tulson Tollett is there to speak with Matt McEwen.
Well, not the performance you're after, but a good start at least.
Yeah, the first half was very solid. You know, we expected Canberra to come out all guns blazing in the second half, and you know, with Terry off the field in the first 10 minutes and a few defensive lapses, they took full advantage of it.
You can't give them the start. I mean, as soon as you guys got in front, you gave them a bit of a sniff, a few silly errors, and they went on with it.
Yeah, well, you know, they're a team of champions, and like you said, if you give them the sniff, they are going to go on with the job, and they did exactly that against us.
Well, it was a good performance last week, going so well against the Broncos. Is it disappointing this week?
Yeah, I think we hit a bit of a low this week, building ourselves up for the Brisbane game, but no, full credit to Canberra. They're a champion team, and you know, they really did a job.
Okay, you got to come back now. You've got one more game down here.
Yeah, well, you know, we've got one more game against Canterbury and then the 3 games in England, so we have to pick ourselves up for next week against Canterbury and go from there.
Okay, good luck the rest of the competition.
Thank you.
There he is, Tulson Tollett from the London Broncos with Matt McEwen. Well, a big win today for the Canberra Raiders, with a 66-point victory. Their goal kicker, David Furner, he didn't score a try, but he kicked 11 out of 11 for 22 points. So if you like seeing points scored, then you had a smorgasbord this afternoon with 86 points in all. But the Canberra Raiders far too good. At the moment, I think they would be the favourites for the Visa Club Challenge. A big victory this afternoon at home at Bruce Stadium. Canberra 66, London 20. On behalf of Gary Freeman, Matt McEwen and all of the Fox Sports team, I'm John McCoy, bidding you good afternoon from a very cool Bruce Stadium in Canberra.
Yes, an absolute tri-fest at Bruce Stadium. Laurie Daly and Brett Mullen scoring enough tries today to break Mel Meninga's club record of 76 tries. So another milestone broken by 2 great players.
Yeah, 2 great players. A great captain's knock by Laurie Daly. He's certainly led from the front, particularly in the second half. He scored a brilliant try, of course, in the first half, but it was a greater team effort, more support play. They talk about Mullins, who's wonderful on his feet. I tell you what, Ken Nagas, he's not bad either. He played wonderful. To the London Broncos, they didn't throw it in. They were tired. You know, I don't think they seem to be as fit as the Raiders, who are running hot at the moment, and also just quickly they were falling off a lot of tackles as well.
Yeah, but all the same, Paul, what began so promisingly for London, they really did fly the flag for England briefly in the first half. It all fell apart too quickly in the second.
Yeah, it did. London played some good football in spells. That's the only problem with English football at the moment. It seems to be in spells. You know, the Raiders were very, very strong. When you have Daly, he was on fire today. You know, like I was saying to you, when you have substitutes like Crockett and Ponga, you know, it's unbelievable. Gary, what's your feeling when you have to go out and mark up against players like Daly, and you're the last line of defence for the Salford Reds? It's a feeling that can't be all too reassuring.
That's right, but you're playing professional rugby, and they don't come any bigger than World Club Champions games, and it's just a privilege to come up against these likes of these players. All right, well, you're going to come up against the likes of the North Queensland Cowboys. It's going to be a difficult match on Saturday night. They're playing in fine form even without some of their key forwards, so that'll be a tough match, Paul. Yeah, it'll be a very, very tough match. You know, I mean, we've got to go up there, we've got to show a bit of pride. You know, England, I mean, I know when we played against Adelaide, you know, we played the national anthem that like, and I went out, and I'll tell you the truth, there was a bit of a tear in my eye because it's the first time I've been over here, but when I went out on the field, it just didn't happen.
I think it might be in your interest too for Andy Gregory to talk to the referee prior to it about the play of the ball, because there seems to be a lot of controversy about it, and you know, standing up to play the ball might give you a better chance.
Well, that may be because, like in England, like we're setting our defence on the people standing up and playing the ball. They're not even getting off the ground and playing the ball, and by the time they've done that, we're thinking we've got another yard in hand and plenty of time, but we've not. Well, at least the centre wicket area at Stockland Stadium's nowhere near as hard as Adelaide Oval. I know that can't have been too easy to take for you guys, but let's have a look at the way the competition stands at the moment. We'll start with Pool A, and of course Canberra on top, courtesy of that absolutely astonishing for and against record. I think they've scored about 24 tries in the last 2 games. And with Canberra, Auckland turning their game around, they're playing well 2 from 2. Canterbury have had the 1 loss, that being to Wigan, and that has allowed Wigan to creep in with a few games still to be played in Pool A. Wigan still the only English side with a victory on the board, Steve.
Well, they're a chance to creep in. Bradford too, they've had 2 losses. Their points for and against is not too bad, so they're probably the leading lights. If any English sides are going to get into Pool A, you'd have to be looking at Wigan and Bradford at this stage. Yeah, all right. Well, Pool B is much the same story, with the Australian teams dominating Adelaide, North Queensland and Hunter, all with 2 wins from 2 games. They have 4 points each, and Perth and Sheffield still to play. But it's difficult. Maybe the Salford boys here would disagree, but it's difficult to see any of those English teams creeping up into the top 4 to make the quarters. Well, you know, look at your side, Salford, 50 points to 8, right? With about 15 minutes to go, it was something like 20 points to 8. You're still a chance. So when you play the Queensland Cowboys, you've just got to make sure that last 20 minutes equip yourselves and play with the same tempo as you did so well in the first half. Yeah, I mean, over here, like I was on about pride, really. You know, it's about putting a good show up in England. You know, I mean, the people back home must be thinking, Jesus, what's going on? If I could just make, not looking for any excuses for the English sides, but the English aren't acclimatised, not so much as travelling out here. It's not so much that. It's our pitch, number one is, game after game here in the Australasian League is a fast, up-tempo, always going all the time. It's a game of margins here too. All the time. So it's hard, it's aggressive all the time, and very fast. Yeah, that's certainly true. Look, we wish you luck on Saturday with the clash against the North Queensland Cowboys. Paul Forber and Gary Broadbent, thanks very much for being on Super Sunday. We wish you well, and I'd like to say that Fox Sports News will be along in just a moment with Caroline Searcy. And Caroline, the good news is that our Aussie tennis players are doing well in the lead up to Wimbledon.
Yes, Cameron, Mark Philippoussis into his first grass court final after a big win over Jonas Bjorkman in the Queen's Tournament in London. The Scud lost the first set before firing up his serve late in the game. Philippoussis taking the match 2-6, 7-6, 6-2 to advance to the final, where he'll play Goran Ivanisevic. Our cricketers aren't in such fine form though, reaching 8 for 220 at stumps on day 1 of their tour match against Leicestershire. Mark Taylor bombing out for just 1 run. In the AFL, St Kilda has held off a determined late challenge from Carlton to win today's match at Waverley by 31 points. The final score, 16 goals 20, 116 to the Blues 12 goals 13, 85. And sad news in racing circles with legendary race caller Bill Collins passing away after a battle with lung cancer. The accurate one, best remembered for his remarkable 34 Melbourne Cup calls. So Cameron, a sad loss, and we'll have full details of those stories and all the footy results tonight in Fox Sports News at 6:30.
Thanks very much, Carolyn. I'll remember Bill Collins for that great call of the Cox Plate, our Waverley Star and Bone Crusher. That was a cracker. Don't forget that the World Club Challenge Round 2 continues here on Fox Sports with Sheffield and Perth. That game live on Monday at 3:30 a.m. An early start for you all then. St Helens and Cronulla. The Sharks fans will have to get up early as well. That one on Tuesday live at 4 a.m. How's your sleep patterns going? Well, it can recover a little bit on Tuesday because we'll have a full coverage of the Brisbane and Wigan replay of the Monday night game. And I'll have a full wrap-up of the second round on the Super League show on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Then round 3 kicks off with Adelaide and Oldham. That's live on Friday the 20th at 8:30 p.m. And it's back to red-eye time again for Sharks fans. Bradford up against Cronulla. That game should be an absolute bottler live on Saturday at 4 a.m. And then it's the Salford Reds in action against North Queensland. That game will be live too, but check your local guides for the start times on Saturday. And then on Super Sunday, join Steve Mortimer and myself again for what promises to be a really good match. Canberra up against Wigan. That game live with a kick-off at 2:30 p.m, followed by our full coverage of Brisbane and Halifax at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On behalf of Steve Mortimer and myself, thanks for joining us on Super Sunday. We'll see you next week.
Excuse me. Hey, I'm in control here.
Everybody was contending for London, and Walters will score under the play for a fire. Who is absolutely stunning.
Quinn splitting of the defence. He's got Kieran Wallace with him. He was forced into the tackle by Gary Broadbent, and then Drew Broadbent and sent it away to Kieran Wallace. Wallace hit a score.
Tournament opens him up, has support, puts it away, and Adam Warwick races in for the try. But it's Kenny Davis putting the foot on the gas again, and he's got a hat-trick. Steps away, good ball once again to Sean Edwards now. Comes to David Prowse. Wanted Roskill to go back inside him, dumbing everybody. It's been Wendell Saylor. Here's a fire. He wasn't going to get there. Edwards gives it away to Roskill, backing up. Oh, you won't see many better tries than that.
John Lomax doesn't get away with it, talking to the referee this time. It comes out to Blackmore. On it goes to Sterling. Sterling for the corner. And Sterling's in.
Only 8 metres out from the line. Run across field to Gary Broadbent. Here's a chance for them. Broadbent going for the line. Gets it down and scores.
Off the legs of DeVico, so it's play on. The front line. He takes them on. Luke DeVico. He's got 2 only to beat. Edwards this time. The touchline and trying to use up the clock here. It won't get into touch. Oh, flying through was Roskill. I think he scored here for London.
Picked up by Crestbrook. Oh, he needed support. He might go all the way. And this is Alan Cairn. Cairn does well to get it back to Kieran Wallace. Wallace starts to sprint, but he gets up to the 20-metre line. Mayhoff will go in and score. He'll put it down right underneath the dot.
Vernon Bates, Kenny Davis. No. Here we go again. Nagus on the fullback. No problem. He's got 6 tries. Oh, Kenny Davis will be saying, how good is this? Walters off the back of the run. Into open space. Finds Mundine on the chest. They might not catch him. Gill coming in cover. Mundine will score to the right-hand side of the post.
Sheridan breaks upfield. Good running, good stepping. Turns him inside out, still going.
On equal turns as Gill turns it back inside. Roslin still going.
See you later. Taken in the tackle of Samuel.
Saylor stepping off the left foot. He's away into open space. There's nobody at home for London. And Wendell Saylor out of nothing.
Don't go past and play the ball before he plays it. I'll try and help you. If I can understand what you're saying, I'll probably laugh.
This has been a Fox Sports production. Up next on Fox Sports 2, a grisly encounter for the North Queensland Cowboys when they meet the Oldham Bears in round 2 of the World Club Challenge. June, and Fox Sports is your winter action station. Rugby Union, the internationals begin. All Blacks, Pumas, Springboks and the British Lions, all live. Australia, France and State of the Union decider. International soccer, this year's #1 tournament. England, Italy, France and Brazil, live and exclusive. Motorsport, Superbike, live. World Motorcycle Grand Prix. All classes exclusively live. Baseball, US Major League, live. Golf, exclusive, live US PGA Tour. Basketball, NBL, live, WNBL. Boxing, live championship fights, classic bouts. And tennis, the one they all want to win. Wimbledon, complete live coverage. The hottest winter sport. See it first on Fox Sports.
Under the roars of the ANZ crowd, the local hero, Alan Langer, brings the Queensland side out.
The final of the inaugural Super League Tri-Series was a clash of bitter foes. Queensland hosting New South Wales. "35,000 people filled the stands at ANZ Stadium for what would be a dramatic night in rugby league.
Now Daly sets himself for the kick, making sure that his players are onside. All up for it and taken by Brett Mullins. And the first try goes to New South Wales.
Mullins' clubmate, David Furner, the man to add the extras.
No mistake about it.
New South Wales and Queensland had qualified for the final after a rugged and controversial round-robin series. New Zealand, the team to miss out.
He's flying. Carroll over the 30, over the 20. Here comes Eddinghausen. Eddinghausen. Carroll's there. What a run from Tony Carroll.
In the dying minutes of the first half, Queensland was on the attack again, trailing by 6 points to 4.
Langer gets it away. Lockyer to Renouf, and Renouf is in. Steve Renouf comes around behind the posts.
The try was converted, and Queensland went into half-time, leading 10-6. New South Wales has often made the trip north as firm favourites and returned with nothing but grief.
Gower, Furner, Eddinghausen, chance for Mullins, and he's fast enough to sneak down that touchline and score.
The try made it 10-all, but controversy raised its ugly head. The Blues' number 2, Ken Nagus, clearly stepping on the touchline while in possession of the ball.
Well, that's out. That is definitely out. That is an incorrect decision. You will hear a little bit of whinging going on besides the amount that I'm doing at the moment.
So far, the pace had been quick, but now the intensity was lifting. Ken Nagus coming desperately close to scoring, but Tony Carroll forced the ball to spill loose. Queensland still within 2.
Quickly gets it to Nagus, and Nagus reaches out. Touch judge flag in the air.
With half an hour left to play, the Blues hooker Craig Gower made a dreadful mistake, and Broncos' instinct automatically clicked in, the ball thrown wide.
Kevin Walters with a goose step, and he goes straight through. Kevin Walters to the 10, inside to Renouf, and Renouf finishes it off for try number 2.
The conversion made it 16-12, and the night was about to get a whole lot more exciting.
Goldthorpe on the right, switches it to Daly. Clyde is the decoy. Daly still going. Ryan slipping. Keeps it alive to Gillies. Did well. Mullins, dangerous. Brett Mullins twists over.
The kick would be good. The Blues leading 18-16. New South Wales was surging. They had the momentum and they had the lead.
Daly running again. Mullins, Clyde, short blindside and a chance, and Ryan dives. Matthew Ryan scores in the corner.
The conversion was waved off, but the Blues led 22-16. The bad news was that there was still 17 minutes to play, and Queensland was within range of the lead.
Now he's got the chance to go to his left. He kicks instead.
Oh, they're offside.
Well, they've got the ball back, Queensland. It's a chance for Hancock. Can he get over? Finally he can.
The atmosphere was tense. Darren Lockyer made it even more so. The score's level at 22 all.
He's only got a 60% great with the boot this season, but that's a good one.
The push was on for the 1 point. Alan Langer from 27 metres out, but well wide of the mark.
Not even close.
After 80 minutes, the score was level on 22 all, with 2 halves of extra time to come, 10 minutes each way.
It's going to go to at least 100 minutes.
For the first 9.5 minutes, it was tight, error-free football. But the last 30 seconds was different. Peachy failing to clear the loose ball. Fortunately for the Blues, Ross was ruled to have reached it first.
No try.
The Queensland opportunities kept coming. Lazarus pinged for a high tackle 44 metres from the Blues line. But the kick went wide.
Still 22 all.
The Maroon machine kept rolling, this time Langer electing to change the point of attack.
Now Green, Renoff flicks it, Tony Carroll, Wendell